मला म्हणजे इंडिकेशन इंडिकेशन कसं देणार?
तुम्ही 4ला बरोबर चालू करायचं असं म्हणाले ते तुमच्या घड्याळाप्रमाणे.
We are in the line, sir.
इंडिकेशन कसं देणार?
तुम्ही 4ला बरोबर चालू करायचं असं म्हणाले ते.
यांचा व्हिडिओचा थोडा प्रॉब्लेम होतो. जस्ट गिव्ह मी अ मिनिट. Okay, respected guests, distinguished speakers, fellow directors, and my dear friends, a very good evening and an heartfelt Jai Hind to each one of you. So it is indeed an honor and privilege for me as one of the director of this Federation of Indian Industries and Professionals to welcome you all to this special online celebration program of 79th Independence Day. तो तहे दिल से आप सबका मैं स्वागत करता हूं आज का ये 79th इंडिपेंडेंस डे का सेलिब्रेशन का. So this is not just another date on the calendar. एक सिर्फ एक तारीख नहीं दोस्तों. It is the soul of our nation, a reminder of our sacrifice made, and a call to action for the responsibilities we bear as a citizen of this country. इस देश का नागरिक के नाते ये हमारा एक जिम्मेदारी बनता है. So आज का हमारा जो थीम है honoring freedom and inspiring the future. So this carries two powerful messages. ये जो कैप्शन है ये दो पावरफुल मैसेज कैरी करता है. So first that we must never let the value of our freedom fade.
Yeah.
It is this is society and for our nation. So before we get into the program, we always start with our national anthem. So let us worship our flag with our national anthem. Next, sir. No, not sir.
Yes, sir.
So I request before I welcome all of you along with our. So before we get into this national anthem, first I welcome our today's guest speakers, Brigadier Vidur Nevrekar, retired, and we have another speaker, ex-AirForce official Ashok Unkule, and we have got Chota speaker also who is going to speak on a very important topic, Dhruv, Deokar. So with all these chief speakers and with our friends, we'll start the program with our national anthem first, then we'll get into our regular program. So I request all of you to stand up to honor our flag.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा
उच्चल जलधि तरंगा
तव
चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
भारत माता की
जय
जय
भारत माता की
जन मन
जय
अधिनायक जय हे
So next.
1 second, sir.
Yeah. So, friends, today's program is very special because our guest speakers will bring a critical perspective on their own topics, what they have chosen for us. So, before we get into our topics, let us understand briefly about Federation of Indian Industries and Professionals. Next. See, FIIP is an unique and multi-stakeholder organization. So basically, this is for a visionary industrialists, businessmen, and professionals. So it started, of course, it is a NGO, that is not for profit, non-profit organization, and it was established on 1st of October 2020, that is 5 years back. The main objective is to boost the small and medium business movements across the country. It serves its members and whole society through private and public corporate sectors. In fact, Federation is a lifeline for small startups to middle and medium scale entrepreneurs. Next. Next, sir. So FIP is very critical platform for networking and collaborating with other peer groups as well as cross-functional business units and other stakeholders who are busy in building our nation. Okay, and of course to build a Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is actively engaged in the welfare activities of business community and general society as well. It is not that only we are focusing on entrepreneurs and businessmen. We do focus on society also as in general. So it welcomes discussions, debates, and it organizes engagement programs with policymakers and private and public and multinational companies, even for that matter, Chamber of Commerce and industrial and professional associations. FIP has created a cluster of network. It is more than today, I mean, I can say more than 40,000 plus GST practitioners are on the platform, on a single platform. They are available for networking and consistently building our business. Next. So the main vision, if I want to brief about our vision, is basically to facilitate and boost entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial development in the country. So we want to develop more and more entrepreneurs who can contribute for this Atmanirbhar Bharat. Of course, socio-economical development, leadership throughout the nation also we focus on that. And as our Prime Minister is focused on women power, we do also do activities for women empowerment who can become Atmanirbhar Nari. So next. So our mission is create world-class talent body of 5 lakh influential and powerful industrialists, entrepreneurs, businessmen, women, and professional through this platform within next 10 years. And main DNA is sustainable growth, as it is mentioned, empowerment, of course, and creation. Next. The very purpose of Federation of Indian Industries and Professionals is help people in their business, okay, support for their economic development, and create industrial insight, which is very, very important for the growth. So, of course, we are helping to inculcate the industrial development, and of course, we facilitate and forums for professionals solving problems with their right solutions. Skill enhancement is another focus where business owners and creating a common platform for building interpersonal relationships. We support MSMEs, businesses, all kind of businesses, and we strategize to help and formulate their apply to meet challenges for various industries, making society aware of social health and environmental issues. As I said, we focus on society also. So this is about our Federation of Indian Industries and Professionals. So now I request the founder director. We have got with us our Mr. Navnath Deokar, who is a founder director of this federation. So to talk few words for the day. Over to Navnath sir.
थैंक यू सीवी कापराबाद से। नमस्कार, मंच पर यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं, आदरणीय अतिथिगण, सभी वक्ता और मेरे सभी प्रिय साथियों, भाइयों और बहनों, आज का दिन खाली 15 अगस्त का तारीख नहीं है दोस्तों। तो 15 अगस्त हमारे दिलों की धड़कन है, हमारा आत्मसम्मान है, आत्मसम्मान का प्रतीक है, और इसके साथ साथ में हमारी पहचान का सबसे बड़ा आधार है। आज हम सब यहाँ 79वें स्वतंत्रता दिवस के पावन अवसर पर अपने उन महान नायकों को याद करने के लिए इकट्ठा हुए हैं दोस्तों, जिन्होंने अपनी जान की बाजी लगाकर हमें यह स्वतंत्रता दिलाई है। सबसे पहले मैं भारत माता के सभी ज्ञात और अज्ञात स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों को विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं, चाहे वो भगत सिंह का अदम्य साहस हो या महात्मा गांधी जी का अहिंसक आंदोलन हो, नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस का तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा का आह्वान हो, या फिर अगणित गुमनाम क्रांतिकारियों का बलिदान हो। दोस्तों, आज का जो 15 अगस्त 2025 का जो हमारे कंट्री का सेलिब्रेशन का थीम है, वो है ऑनरिंग फ्रीडम और इंस्पायरिंग द फ्यूचर। दोस्तों, आज हमारा थीम एक सिर्फ वाक्य नहीं है। ऑनरिंग फ्रीडम का मतलब है अपनी आजादी की कीमत समझना, उसका आदर करना और इसे खोने न देना। इसके साथ साथ इंस्पायरिंग द फ्यूचर का मतलब है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को सही दिशा देना, उन्हें यह सिखाना कि स्वतंत्रता केवल अधिकार नहीं बल्कि जिम्मेदारी है। दोस्तों, स्वतंत्रता का असली अर्थ है कि स्वतंत्रता सिर्फ अंग्रेजों से छुटकारा नहीं था, इसका मतलब था समानता, शिक्षा का अधिकार, आर्थिक आत्मनिर्भरता और अपने निर्णय खुद लेने की ताकत। लेकिन दोस्तों, आज हमें खुद से यह सवाल पूछना होगा, क्या हम उस सपने को पूरी तरह से जी रहे हैं? क्या हर नागरिक को बराबर का अवसर मिल रहा है? और क्या हम अपने देश को विश्व में अग्रणी बनाने के लिए एकजुट है? दोस्तों, इसी सवालों का समाधान लेके आने के लिए हम लोगों ने फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज एंड प्रोफेशनल्स की स्थापना हुई 2020 में। और फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज एंड प्रोफेशनल्स मतलब FIIP सिर्फ एक संगठन नहीं है बल्कि एक मिशन है, जो उद्योग और पेशेवरों को जोड़ता है, रोजगार और उद्यमिता के अवसर बढ़ाता है, ज्ञान, तकनीक और संसाधनों का आदान प्रदान करता है। इसके साथ साथ में देश के विकास में निजी क्षेत्रों को सक्रिय भूमिका में लाता है। दोस्तों, पिछले कई सालों से हम लोगों ने कई उद्योग संगठनों को जो इंडस्ट्री सेमिनार्स हैं वो सेमिनार्स कंडक्ट किए हुए हैं, ऑनलाइन वेबिनार वर्कशॉप लिए हैं, इसके साथ साथ में स्टार्टअप्स मार्गदर्शन कार्यक्रम भी लिए हैं। यस, इसके साथ साथ में कॉर्पोरेट और शैक्षणिक सहयोग परियोजनाओं को सफलतापूर्वक आयोजित किया है। इसके साथ साथ में मैं आज खुशी से आप सब लोगों को ये बताना चाहता हूं कि फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज एंड प्रोफेशनल्स 1 अक्टूबर से एक नए रूप से आने वाला है और एक नया विजन, नई ऊर्जा और नए लक्ष्य के साथ वापस से आएगा। इसमें हम लोग यूथ इंडिया जो युवा के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें लेके आएगा, उसमें स्किल डेवलपमेंट होगा, लीडरशिप ट्रेनिंग्स होगा। इसके साथ साथ में स्टार्टअप इंडिया और एमएसएमई सेक्टर के लिए विशेष सहायता कार्यक्रम होगा, डिजिटल नेटवर्किंग प्लेटफॉर्म होगा जिससे देश के हर एक कोने से प्रोफेशनल्स और इंडस्ट्रियल्स लोग एक क्लिक में एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़ सकते हैं। इसके साथ में इंडस्ट्रियल एजुकेशन कोलैबोरेशंस तथा अलग अलग कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ में हम लोग जुड़ेंगे और वो नया यूथ जो आने वाला है उनको एक अच्छी तरह से प्लेटफॉर्म मिलेगा इंडस्ट्री के साथ इंटरेक्ट करने के लिए। इसके साथ साथ में मैं ज्यादातर कहूंगा कि जो भारत के युवा है, ये भारत के युवा आज के डेट में 35 साल के नीचे वाले जो लोग हैं वो 60% से ज्यादा आबादी के हैं। दोस्तों, ये संख्या केवल संख्या का खेल नहीं है, एक जिम्मेदारी का सवाल है। मैं अपने युवाओं से कहना चाहूंगा कि अपने कौशल को निखारिए, सिर्फ नौकरी पाने का नहीं, नौकरी देने का लक्ष्य रहना चाहिए। दोस्तों, ईमानदारी, अनुशासन और परिश्रम को आधार बनाए रख के हम लोग आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। हमारे देश को अगर नया रूप देना है, जागतिक आर्थिक महासत्ता बनाना है, फाइनेंशियल आजादी देना है, तो दोस्तों आज हमें सीमा पर दुश्मनों से लड़ने के साथ साथ आर्थिक मोर्चे पर भी मजबूत होना चाहिए। फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज एंड प्रोफेशनल्स का मानना है कि आर्थिक आत्मनिर्भरता ही असली आजादी का दूसरा रूप है। दोस्तों, जब हमारे उद्योग मजबूत होंगे, हमारे युवाओं के पास काम होगा और हमारा देश तकनीक में आत्मनिर्भर होगा, तभी हम सही मायनों में स्वतंत्र होंगे। दोस्तों, हमें इतिहास ने बहुत कुछ सिखाया है। ये इतिहास हमको यही सिखाता है कि एकता ही ताकत है। आज हम सब लोग एक साथ अगर संकल्प लेंगे, हम अपनी आजादी की रक्षा करेंगे, देश के विकास में अपना योगदान देंगे और आने वाली पीढ़ियों को एक बेहतर, सशक्त और आत्मनिर्भर भारत देंगे। स्वतंत्रता सिर्फ अतीत की स्मृति नहीं है दोस्तों, एक वर्तमान की जिम्मेदारी और भविष्य का एक संकल्प है। दोस्तों, आखिर में मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि आज के इस पावन अवसर पर जब हम अपने शहीदों को नमन कर रहे हैं और नए भारत का सपना देख रहे हैं, तो आइए इस भावना को शब्दों में पिरोते हुए मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि तिरंगा है हमारी शान, तिरंगा है हमारी शान, भारत है हमारी जान, वीरों का बलिदान रखेंगे सदा उनका मान। आज हम ले प्रतिज्ञा मिलकर बढ़ाए देश की दिशाया, स्वतंत्रता का करे सम्मान, भविष्य को दे नई जान। जय हिंद दोस्तों, जय हिंद। और टू सीबीके सर।
Thank you, Navnar sir, for that brief, wonderful insight for our audience. So, as I told, next slide, sir. Next slide. So, as I mentioned, say our industry must create not just a wealth, but also a trust. Our professionals must deliver not just skills, but also values. तो इसी जो उद्देश्य है, इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आज का प्रोग्राम जो है, मैंने जैसे बोला था, इज वेरी स्पेशल एंड क्रूशियल. सो आवर गेस्ट स्पीकर्स हैव today's critical perspective topics. The first one is defense forces as a role model. of course, learning discipline, courage, and selflessness from our soldiers. So what Indian youth must learn out of it. Next, is India really growing? So it is a reality check on our economic and social progress. So our guest will speak, given some insight on that, how we are progressing, in what sectors we are progressing, these kind of things. And lastly, तो जय जवान जय नागरिक, हमने बहुत बार या सदियों से ये सुनते आए हैं कि जय जवान जय किसान. Now it is not only limited to kisan, it is for everybody's responsibility. That is what our third guest speaker is going to speak on that. That is bridging the understanding between the uniform protectors and our borders and the citizens they safeguard the country. Okay, तो ये जो गैप है इसको हम कैसे अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं, तो ये 3 टॉपिक है. तो ये टॉपिक शुरू करने के लिए मैं नेक्स्ट सर अपने और एक कलीग डायरेक्टर्स को इनवाइट करूंगा. सो डॉक्टर पोपट राव मोहिते is one of our director, a very well known coach, mentor, trainer. He is a universal role model, I can say. So he is also a director. So to take over further, I request Dr. Popat Rao to take over the session.
Thank you very much, sir. We welcome everybody. Yes, please. No problem, sir. Please take. Yeah.
Please, I request sincerely to attentively listen the speakers, so that this, when we are talking about freedom, nation, for armed forces, etc., so we have got a chance everywhere. Okay, and today's prime minister's speech was so powerful. He has given such a vision. He initially told, I am guiding for the country. In fact, so I am here to guide the country. That means he was touching all sectors of people. So particularly focusing on national security, plus women empowerment, plus demography. There are so many things, technology. He was talking so many things. So we're all lucky to have such a guide, as he himself called as a servant of the nation. Right?
Thank you very much. So, good evening, one and all, friends. It is a privilege to have you all here
with a
with a
great
great heart,
with a
with a
great
great love,
and with a
and with
great
a great
integrity of our country. I would
I would like to
welcome our now upcoming speakers. So
So
definitely,
definitely,
please have
please
an
have an
intro
intro
of
of
the
the
one by one speaker here, so I can introduce them.
them.
Navnak?
Navnak?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, sir. Yes, friends, today we have the opening speaker of this program is none other than but Brigadier Vidur Nevrekar, sir, who is a retired. He's a ex-brigadier Indian Army. He's going to talk on defense force as a role models, what Indian youth must learn. He's going to indicate us different dimensions that what basically today we are going to have. Next slide. About him, I would like to brief. Being as a defense person, defense forces as a role model, what they have basically done practically, he experienced himself. He's carrying 33 years of service, commissioned in 1982, rose to the brigadier in regiment of the artillery, and he worked pan-India tenure. Friend, he served from Punjab plains to Siachen glacier. You know, all glacier. That height, that coldness, what he really, gone through that way. So his experience, personality, where he also worked in Rajasthan deserts, the thirst what he might have really tested that what, but we can only hear to Arunachal Hills, again in the Pahadi area. Operational leadership, where he basically op methods by Siachen and Meghdut, conventional offensive defense. And again, he basically Rakshak at Jammu and Kashmir, and Aboji basically Rihono, Assam, and Arunachal, counter-terrorism, insurgency. Friends, what terrorism? He experienced himself in front of terrorists, and he did that great work for our nation. So they really, sir, it's a commendable thing that you people work for our nation. And he worked as a commanding officer, artillery regiment in Unkule, basically in Jammu and Kashmir, secured Jammu Poonch route basically for military logistics in Poonch Rajozari sector. If you think about the logistic, it's not that easy in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a Pahadi area, and altogether, it's again, when and how the terrorists would come and insecure, 100% unsecure place where he basically sought to provide the necessary amenities to our soldiers. He also worked as a brigadier command, raised a new brigade to strengthen defense against China in Arunachal and counter terrorism in the state. Friend, we heard in the newspaper, but he experienced to stop these all Chinese, those who are creating a nuisance for our country. Educational leadership, he chaired the army and sent a school, 3,000 students each, and 5 pre-primary schools, 300 students each. So if you see that, he's not only the field of this battlefield, but in the social perspective, he was in education sector too. Selection leadership assessment, he qualified interview officer for DIPR, President SSB Bhopal evaluated 2,500 plus officer aspirations who would like to join with the army. And trained, he was an instructor in a Ganeri, taught at School of Artillery, then Devalai Surveillance and Target Acquisition Branch, and after his post-retirement, conduct personality development and training and armed forces aspirants. The whatever he might be delivering, he delivering to the heart, not with the brain, because he experienced himself practically, and all that disciplinary, all that concern upbringing of his personality, definitely putting all thought process through his personality in today's world. Independent director, board of Venki's, everybody knows that, having a huge experience. There is an independent director post in various industries, and he is one of that. Sir, it is a proud moment, and really we are proud of you to be here to have us today. And the topic which you are going to deal us in that line of understanding, that what Indian youth must learn. Yes, sir. It is a time that our youth is derived from these various concerned digital challenges and the cultural challenges, value challenges. So entire our country having the great values, but we are misleading ourselves towards something else. but you are today definitely the proper thought processor and will make us the benchmark thought process for upcoming youth of today. Thank you very much, sir. And we're very, very happy that you will definitely talk through that area where Defense Forces as a role model for our Indian youth, what he must learn. So it will be the right thought process. Over to you, sir.
And
Welcome for this first, basically the area of thought process. Over to you, Brigadier, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful words. I don't know how much of what you've said I really deserve. But all the same, I will not refuse the opportunity to accept whatever you have said. Before I actually take on, let me share my presentation. Like at my age, IT is a big problem. All the same, overcoming that with the experiences like this.
Yes, it
Yes,
is
it is
visible,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Can you see it, sir?
Absolutely.
Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I at the outset welcome you to this program conducted by FIIP on the auspicious day of 79th Raising Day. And on my talk as a part of that on Defense Forces as a role model and what Indian youth must learn. At the outset, let me wish you all a very happy 79th Independence Day. I'll take this opportunity to convey my gratitude and pay my homage to all the freedom fighters who led us to this freedom with their countless sacrifices. Also, my gratitude to all the armed forces and other security services for unparalleled resilience displayed by them from time to time in maintaining that freedom. And also my sincere gratitude to all those citizens who have from time to time contributed towards the growth of this country because of their love and dedication to the country. My best wishes to 1.4 billion population of this country for a very steady and steep growth. I am also grateful to the organizers and the dignitaries of FIIP for giving me this elite platform to speak today to the elite crowd of such a august gathering of FIIP members and the other invitees. I have a slight selfish motive in accepting this talk also. Because I knew that when I come here, I will get an audience which is young physically, as also the parents of the young people. Because what I have observed in last about 10 years after I retired, the Defense Forces is either not there in the list of professions that you would like to accept, or if it is there, it is very low in its position. So therefore I thought, let me convey to you that if you have Defense Forces as a very high priority choice, what are you likely to gain? And for a moment, I am not covering the pay and allowances and promotional aspects and the other things. Because it will take a lot of time also, and that is not the focus of the talk today. But what I am covering is the value system. And probably if you or your children join this organization, you are likely to see a different person, after he joins or even after he retires. And therefore, after my talk, even if one person if he changes his professional choice from something else to the Defense Forces, I think I'll consider myself lucky. With that, I'll go over to my subject, Defense Forces as role models and what Indian youth must learn. Now, I would like to draw your attention to the last line. It doesn't say what Indians youth can learn. It says it must learn. And if you have carefully heard what the FIIP directors said earlier, I think we all are expecting that values must be a part of your behavior and not just earning fame or just progress which has no value. As I see this subject has got two parts. One is what defense forces, uh, one is the defense forces as role models, and another is what Indian youth must learn. So the first part first, defense forces as role models. If you carefully see, even this sentence has got two parts. One is defense forces as they are, and the defense forces as your role model. Now, the first part, that is defense forces as they are, I'm going to cover to let you know why are the defense forces as they are. And the second part, that is whether they are to be considered as role model, I'm going to completely leave it to you. So with that, let me start my talk. In my 33 years of service, and thereafter I spent about 10 years after my retirement, I have found one thing, that defense forces are in the heart of people and they love it. The government as well as the normal citizen of this country feels that the defense forces is the last resort in the hands of government, uh, and they have tremendous faith in us. And because of that tremendous faith, uh, a lot of tasks are given to the defense forces, which are actually not the primary task of the defense forces. So I was just trying to find out as to what is the reason for this love, what is the reason for this faith. And I have homed on to some reasons, which are, firstly, they're always ready to undertake any task under the sun. And when I say under the sun, means under the sun. Be it be our primary task of defending the borders and to an extent counter terrorism, that work stands. That there's nobody else to take on that. That is our bread and butter. But other than that, disaster management, maybe artificial calamities, natural calamities, it could be law and order problems, aid to civil authority, maybe constructing bridges at Commonwealth, at Elphinstone railway station, at Prayagraj in the last Kumbh Mela, be it saving children from the bore well, etc., etc. Anything. I personally don't remember, except for fighting fire. I think all other tasks have already been given to us. So we are ready to undertake any task under the sun. Now, what they accept, they deal with absolutely professionally. And they devote and dedicate themselves to what they deal with. Their actions are completely value-based and filled with empathy and compassion. And finally, the reasons for their success is not their knowledge or expertise. It is their attitude, their character, and their ethos. Now, the question is, can the other organizations not do this work? Absolutely not. There are some organizations which have highly qualified people. There are intellectuals, there are engineers, there are doctors, there are architects, there are chartered accountants, there are management professionals. They can undertake any task. Probably technically they're much more proficient and they can do it much better than us. But the only difference is While all of us are very well trained for our primary jobs, very few of us, or probably none other than the defense forces, yeah, none other than the defense forces are psychologically tuned and molded to take on anything that they are not actually trained for. Now, I am primarily going to talk about what is the origin of this psyche, this ethos, and this attitude in the services. At the foremost, we in the armed forces are what we are because of the country that we belong to. We take a lot of ethos and inspiration from this country. And therefore, before I talk about the armed forces, the talk will be incomplete if I don't speak of the country that we belong to. Unlike many modern nations that were born out of revolution, uh, border shifts, or maybe colonial arrangements, India is a continuous civilization. It has got roots thousands of years back. It's a land of Vedas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana. It is birthplace of Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism. This is a civilization that takes blows from the history and turns them into stepping stones. India sees opportunities in adversities. Even now, you can see as the things are going on, a lot of adversities are seen in the atmosphere, and we are very bravely going, ahead with those adversities, making them as opportunities. India has used circumstances to build the ability to absorb, to adapt, and still remain uniquely itself. When Mughals came, India did not vanish, they adapted. When British came, India did not surrender. It learned their language, it learned their systems, it understood their systems, and then used their own tools against them to get the free. It is a civilization that refuses to forget itself, no matter how many the others try to do it. The idea of India is indestructible because India is not on the map, it is in the heart of it. It is a 1.4 billion economy and 1.4 billion democracy. But it is not just the size, it is a young democracy. Our median age is less than 30 years. And it has a young population filled with energy, ambition, and potential. And this also turns into an economic advantage. It has a massive workforce, a booming consumer base, and a reservoir of human capital. And I am happy to note what the dignitaries spoke before before my talk, that FIIP is working towards this. And therefore, India cannot be defeated, not militarily, not economically, not ideologically, and certainly not culturally. With that, let me go on to the defense forces. We in the defense forces are happy to be, or fortunate, and why only we in the defense forces? Even the audience which is sitting here, which is not from defense forces, we all are very fortunate to be the part of this country, part of the civilization, part of the traditions of this country. शस्त्रेण रक्षिते राष्ट्रे शास्त्र चिंता प्रवर्तते. शस्त्र से रक्षित राष्ट्र ही शास्त्र चिंतन के माध्यम से समृद्धि के मार्ग पर आगे बढ़ सकता है. Strong military is therefore essential for any country that wants to grow. But strength and power does not come from the size of the arsenal that you have, size of the weapon systems that you have. It comes from the weight of history, the clarity of your purpose, and the character of your soul. And we in the Indian military men have been fortunate that we just had to absorb these virtues from the culture of our country. Indian military is not simply a national defense force. It is an institution forged by centuries of war, sacrifice, duty, and moral resolve. It's a consequence of generations of warriors who have bled into the soil not just to protect the territory, not only to save governments, but to defend civilization. Indian military displays discipline without being unfair, courage without being cruel, and strength without being arrogant. It is not just a military that raised after 1947 after the independence. This is the military of a civilization that has been defending its borders, its values, and its people. From the very ancient times. Indian military takes values from Ramayana, it takes values from Mahabharata, it takes values from Cholas, Mauryas, Ashokas, it takes values from Marathas, Rajputs, Sikhs. It even learned tactics, strategies, and structures from Britishers, for whom they fought over half a century all over the world during First and Second World War. These are not just episodes of history. They are the training ground for the national psyche. They are the training ground for cultural conditioning of this defense force. The Indian warrior was always associated with ethics. A true warrior was expected to fight only when needed, to protect the weak, and to uphold the righteousness. And that foundational ethics still lives in the soul of Indian Armed Forces. So the modern military may be modern in its uniform, technology, and strategies. But it is as old as its civilization in its values, righteousness, and resilience. But the values and virtues are not just academic. You can see them across rank and file, you can see them across the arms and services, and you can see them across caste, creed, and religion. I will quote here a case of Captain Mahendranath Mullah Mahavir Chakra. On 9th question goes anything between 15 and 40. They came in and they demanded money. Vishnu Shrestha was carrying a lot of money because those were the days where of cash and not the electronic payments like today. So he was carrying a lot of money. He gave out all the money to the robbers. He didn't question them. But just after that, these robbers started molesting a girl. The moment he saw that the robbers are molesting, he took out his kukri. The soldier in him arose. He took out his kukri and he started fighting with the robbers. He killed, as per my report goes, he killed 3 of them, and in the bargain, he also got, injured himself. He was rewarded suitably by the service later on. But when the girl's father offered him cash reward, he said, fighting for the enemy in battle was my duty as a soldier. Fighting this molester is my duty as a human being. That is the kind of values that you learn from these defense forces. Like, I remember that adage by LIC, Zindagi ke saath bhi, Zindagi ke baad bhi. I converted to my service for these values, service ke saath bhi or service ke baad bhi. I can give you a number of examples for this, but not today, when we speak next time. The history gives us values. The geography tempers us. It makes us more hard, it makes us more elastic, and it makes us more resilient. Like tempering does to iron. Most of you must be industrialists and you very well know what is tempering is. So geography does tempering of the defense forces. Resilience is not something that can be taught in a classroom or acquired from a textbook. It is something that is forged in the hardship, in discomfort, and in confrontation with the extremes. Our armed forces are conditioned to endure some of the most punishing environments on the planet and still carry out their duties with clarity, discipline, and resolve. They function in soaring 50 degrees centigrade, 55 degrees centigrade. In fact, this year Rajasthan went beyond 55 degrees centigrade. The sandstorms there can disorient the entire convoy. You don't know where you're going. I had personally got, stuck like this, knowing where to go. On the other hand, they guard in minus 80 degrees centigrade on the highest battleground of Siachen Glacier, where the environment poses greater danger than the enemy itself. In dense jungle of Northeast, you face ambushes, you face insurgency, you face diseases that thrive on humidity.
And these
conditions are not just exercise conditions.
They are
the daily realities.
Where the
Where the
survival
alone
is so
difficult.
The
The combat in these conditions demand
extraordinary
state of mind
that is
that is
almost
almost philosophical.
The
The isolation, the boredom,
the
the extreme weather,
and
and ever-present risk of death.
They
They
create
create tremendous
psychological
pressure.
And yet,
These men and women,
they
they carry out their duties with meditative focus.
This is
This is not just an accident.
It is the
It is the
result
result of rigorous training
and
and cultural psyche.
We
We accept
suffering
as a
of
path of way to
the
the strength.
And therefore,
And therefore, I will now
speak
speak a little about our training. In all the basic trainings in academies like NDA, IMA, Indian Military Academy, Indian Air Force Academy, Indian Naval Academy, Officers Training Academy, and all the training centers where the Jawans are trained, the cadets are not just physically tested, they're tested mentally. They are pushed to limits. sleep deprived, challenged, and confronted with one failure after the other. Until they understand that resilience is not just about how much you can take, but about how much you can take and still move forward without losing your values and sense of purpose. What world sees in our training is drill, PT, weapon training, flying, sailing, administration, logistics. But to us, that training means infusing of core values of service into the soldier, irrespective of the rank. Before we see what these core values are,
let me show you a video. This is a naval officer addressing his troops.
You don't have it till now. This right now is your call of duty. This drill for the 13.5 minutes that you'll do is your call of duty. And if you cannot sweat and bleed right now, this evening for this drill, believe me, gentlemen, you will never do it for your country. Because this and only this is your call of duty right now. It doesn't happen overnight that you think, "Aaj main nahi karunga." But when the bigger call comes, when we are expected to die, that day I will go and take a bullet on my chest. Doesn't happen. Gentlemen, you are the best that has ever been in INS Valsura. You are the best, and you will always be the best that this establishment will ever see. Mark my words. It swells my heart with pride when I stand in front of you as your officer of the guard, as your guard commander. It's a privilege that you guys have given me, and I'll always be indebted for it throughout my life. But today, when you march inside this parade ground, when you perform your drill, I want to see what you're made of. I want to see that fire that's there in your belly coming out from your eyes. I want you to set this goddamn parade ground on fire. I want each and every soul sitting out there to embrace that fire and feel the warmth of INS Valsura Guard, the best guard that has ever been. Are you ready? Yes, sir! Guard, this is not the Josh that I was expecting from this guard. Guard, are you ready? Yes! Are we going to have a good drill today? Yes! We're going to set this parade ground on fire! Yes! All the best. Do well. Not for me. Do well for Master GI. Do well for your GIs who stand ram rod straight. Do it for them. And if there's still any bit left in you, do it for them who have sacrificed their lives so that we celebrate this day and the 4th of December. Happy Navy Day in advance, and let's go and kill.
that is the kind of training that we have. What now? Let me tell you the gist of what this gentleman was telling his sailors. He was telling them, "You are working for the organization. INS Valsura is the best,
and you
and
are
you are the
best.
best.
What you
What you
are
are doing today is not unimportant.
Don't take
Don't
it
take
as
it as just drill.
It's a
It's
part
a
of
part of your duty.
It is
It
what
is
you're
what
going
you're
to
going to
accomplish tomorrow. Your
Your
today's
performance will decide
on your
on your
performance
performance in the battle.
Excellence
Excellence is a habit.
Your
Your
seniors,
seniors, your subordinates have put in a lot of hard work.
You have
You
to
have to repay them.
Your
Your organization had heroes.
Remember
them,
adore
adore them,
follow them.
follow them.
This is
This
the
is the kind of training that we have.
This is
This is the kind of infusion of values
that we
that we
do
do
in the
in the
training
training in
academies,
academies and thereafter
in the
in the
units,
units, on the ship, and
in the
in the
stations
stations in the Air Force.
Now let us see what are the core values that are infused
by this
by
training.
this training.
Esprit de
Esprit de
corps.
corps.
It is the
It is the
spirit of
spirit of
comradeship
comradeship
and
and
brotherhood
brotherhood
of
of
brave.
brave.
I would like
I
to
would like
give you
to
an
give you an
example
example
here,
here,
not
not
from the
from the
Indian
Indian
Defense
Defense
Forces,
Forces
or
or
not even
not even from, from the recent history, but I would like to give you an example of Shri Ram in Ramayana. I, of course, saw it in one of the serials. Shri Ram is in Lanka, and there's some fight going on, I think, between him and Indrajit, and he either gets injured or something, and he's not well. So he's told by his subordinates कि आप अभी अपने कुटिया में जाइए और वहाँ आराम कीजिए. We will see what is happening here. So Ram that time says, अगर आज मैं अपने विश्राम गृह में गया तो मेरा धर्म पराजित हो जाएगा. I will not leave the battlefield and go and relax. What will my subordinates tell me tomorrow if I am not on the battlefield when the battle is going? So that is the esprit de corps that we still maintain. Spirit of self-sacrifice. Naam, namak, nishan. Naam, your own name, your unit name, your ship name, your nation's name, your battalion name. Namak, that the nation, देश का जो आप नमक खाते हो. Nishan, the झंडा of your battalion, your regiment, your nation. You heard Captain Mullah sacrificing his life. It's for this, Naam, Namak, Nishan, nothing else. Captain Vikram Batra, he wrote in the letters that he wrote to his friends and mother that हम या तो तिरंगा फहराएंगे या उसमें लिपट के आ जाएंगे. The poor chap did both, फहराया भी और लिपट के भी आ गया. So that is the spirit of selfless sacrifice. Valor. The fear of death is almost gone once you are in the battle. Non-discrimination. In the defense forces, there is no discrimination on account of caste, creed, religion, nothing. Our religion, our caste is the caste of our troops. We all pray under the same roof. And this unique character binds us as a team, despite the diversities. So that is the kind of non-discrimination that we have. Fairness and honesty. We are fair and honest not only to ourselves, we are fair and honest even to the enemy. Even the enemy dead bodies, if not accepted by the enemy, we give them due respect and bury or burn them accordingly depending on the religion. I would like to bring it to your notice here, many of you may not be knowing, that during Kargil, thick of Kargil, the exchange of bodies used to be taking place between India and Pakistan from a place called Post 43. This Post 43 was never fired upon, neither by us nor by Pakistan. So that is the kind of fairness that you have, that is the kind of honesty that you have. There are many Indian soldiers, in 71 operations for whom the Pakistani senior officers have, praised. There are many Pakistani soldiers for whom the Indian officers have praised and told their countries to give them some reward. So that is the, honesty and fairness. There is no enmity between people. The enmity is only between the nations. Death to dishonor. The close bond amongst the forces enables them to prefer death to dishonor. The second adhyay of Gita is literally taught to us through the service without calling it second adhyay. जीतोगे तो राज करोगे, मरोगे तो स्वर्ग पाओगे. That is our feeling. Here I would like to give you a very live example of not something that I heard, but something that I experienced. One of my own operators when I was in Glacier. His name is Atresh Kumar. When he was with me, he was Nayak. Now he's retired. He retired as a Subedar. And we both belong to 143 Field Regiment Artillery. Atresh was my operator in Glacier, and by then we had spent about 2.5 months. The maximum tenure that you get in Glacier is about 3 months, because then it starts affecting your body and your medical things. So not more than 3 months on an average a person remains in the Glacier. Initially you are not battle inoculated, so you with every sound, you feel that the round is coming onto you. But once you're battle inoculated, if the enemy artillery shell is coming, it is coming on me, or it is going on my right or behind or left, whatever, you can gauge it. So we were in about 2.5 months. So we were fully battle inoculated. We could gauge where the round is coming. And in that time, I'm from artillery, so my guns are about 10 kilometers behind, and we are in front, and we see the fall of shot of the guns, and we adjust the fire. So we generally adjust the fire from the bunkers that we have on the posts. So there was some target. Since you all are new to this environment, I thought, let me explain it to you. So we saw a target getting active, and we wanted to engage the target. So we went into the bunker, and we called for the fire. The first round came, but I couldn't observe the fire because there was some obstruction from the loophole. So I told Atresh, I'll stand on the bunker, and there I'll be able to see the round. तो इधर ही रहना, और मैं जो करेक्शन पास कर देता हूँ, आप गन्स को पास कर देना. Atresh said, okay साहब, I'll do that. I called for the second round. The second round came. I could see it, and I passed the correction. Now the procedure is that I pass the correction, the operator, that is Atresh, passes it to the gun, and guns fire again. So I passed the correction, whatever. It maybe add 400 or something. I passed it to Atresh, and I was expecting Atresh to pass this correction to the guns, and Atresh was in the bunker. So from loophole, I will get that sound from front of me. I heard the sound, but from behind me. And I turned back and I said, Atresh, why are you standing on the bunker? You should be inside the bunker. So Atresh says, साहब, अगर आपको कुछ हो गया तो मैं यूनिट में जाकर क्या मुंह दिखाऊं लोगों को, और मैं भाभी जी को क्या बोलूं कि मैं बंकर में था और आप बाहर से शूट ले रहे थे. साहब, जहां भी जाएंगे इकट्ठा जाएंगे, या तो इस तरफ जाएंगे या उस तरफ जाएंगे. So that is the kind of association you have. That is you don't fear death at all. I mean, Atresh and me are still good friends. That is the kind of the fearlessness for the death that this training gives us. And this is available to the Indian soldier only because he acts under pressure and he acts with limited resources. And what happens is these limited resources give you creativity, they give you improvisation, and they give you calm under pressure. You will find a number of instances where improvisation has been done. We had one Havaldar Jaswant Singh, who alone held a Chinese battalion for hours so that the people who have gone in, I'm talking about 1962 operation, that the people who have gone behind to reorganize, to give them time to reorganize, he held the battalion only by, himself. He had two girls from the local villages called Noora and Sela, and some sheeps, in whose neck he put some lights or something. And he held a battalion for quite some time, 72 hours or something. So that is the kind. I will give you another example of one Captain Samant of Indian Navy.
All of those. Captain Samant, you were telling me before we started, it was over some rum in, I guess, the officers' mess, where you decided how to fix the mechanism to trigger these mines. What was the process, and what exactly did this water-soluble element of the mine ensure?
You see, the mine or any other firing mechanism has got to explode only after completing the circuit. Now, in these mines, which we had devised, there was a soluble plug made of sugar, which used to melt in 30 minutes on after touching the water. And in the 30 minutes, the diver had to attach that limpet mine to the ship's side, get away and escape. And sometimes it didn't happen and the poor chap died. Fortunately, none of our people died in this accident. And so in order to give additional safety for the diver, we have to devise some means of making sure that while the mine is being attached to the ship's side, it doesn't dissolve and start the firing mechanism. The only way we could do it is either to devise a mine with a larger time mechanism, which was not possible, or else do something to modify the present one. We modified it over a glass of solution, came over a glass of liquor in one of our tents. And I hate to say that, but we solved that problem by using a condom to cover the dog. And it worked beautifully well. And we were able to achieve our objectives.
How remarkable is that? The process of triggering this mine to ensure that the diver could actually get away from their safe took place on the basis of two aspects. There was sugar, and enough sugar. If the sugar got dissolved in the water, the circuit would start and it would be completed and it would then explode. So only a right amount of sugar had to be put. And when it fully dissolved, the explosion would take place. But that wasn't good enough. So a condom was actually used to be a part of the mechanism to ensure that the diver had enough time to save his life. This was the contraption which was actually used to sink 100,000 tons of Pakistani shipping in 1971. Now,
Yeah, before I go ahead, Captain Samant got Mahavir Chakra in this operation 1971.
And he was a part of a covert operation, highly secret covert operation, of which there were only four people who knew this. The Chief of Naval Staff, one more officer, Captain Samant, and the Prime Minister. Only four people knew about this operation, for which he has written a book which was released after this event. But unfortunately, Captain Samant had passed away before the release of the book. Captain Samant was also appointed as initially the temporary chief of Bangladesh Navy, and thereafter the honorary chief of Bangladesh Navy. Captain Samant for me is not only a brave naval officer, but Captain Samant is my brother-in-law. My first cousin is married to him, and probably my motivation, my inspiration to join the defense forces. I would like to draw your attention to this Chetwood credo, which is imbibed into us from time to time. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of your men you command comes next. And your own ease, comfort, and safety comes last, always and every time. And this is not just a credo to be framed and put it in your office. No. Because we work together for years. We work together for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And if my Jawans know that I'm a selfish man, I don't look after them, my selfishness is ahead in every action that I do. Atresh wouldn't have done what he has done for me. Atresh wouldn't like to die with me. So our Jawans wouldn't like, they will work for us, but nobody will die for you if you are a selfish person. So that is the kind of association that we have.
The next thing that I would like to very briefly touch upon, because we're running out of time, is the selection system that we have. I will cover it if given an opportunity later sometime. But it's a very peculiar selection system. This is I'm talking about only for officers. This is a very peculiar selection system, which is unlike other selection systems. In the other selection systems, you look for IQ, you look for knowledge, you look for expertise, you look for experience, you look for skill. In our selection system, we don't look for these things. If they are there, fine, but we're not looking for those things. What we look for? We look for subconscious behavior. We look for ethical background. We look for social attitude towards others, inspiration and passion to join the defense forces, and more than everything, your capacity to sacrifice. I will not be really exaggerating if I say that we look for your emotional quotient and spiritual quotient. The terms emotional quotient and spiritual quotient were coined by the psychologist in 1997 and 2004 respectively. But the qualities inherent to EQ and SQ are being tested in the Services Selection Board, which is the system for selection of officers, since its inception in 1943. And therefore, I call this selection system as the character hunt. This system of selection has the ability to select ordinary people like me with the potential to become extraordinary. And this is not a statement which is just Hawame statement. You all are quite grown up, and you know how many tasks have been given to the Indian Defense Forces
of
of
various
nature.
Their
Their primary task, secondary task,
or
or
something
something
else.
else.
How many
How many
times
times have they failed?
Hardly
Hardly any.
I'm not
I'm not saying
we are
we are
failure
failure
proof.
proof.
We
We
are
are
not.
not.
But
But
very
few
times
times have we failed. Most of the times we
succeeded.
succeeded.
How many
How many
times
have you seen
93,000 prisoners of war in any of the operations? We achieved that in 71. We divided a country into two halves. Extraordinary achievement by ordinary people who were 10th and 12th passed with maybe 60%, not even, and the salaries maybe as per today's standard 2.5 lakh, those days maybe 10,000 or something. Take a very recent case of Taj encounter. The NSG was called from Delhi. They conducted an operation of securing all the rooms. There were 1,100 rooms, and there were about 80 people who did this task for 72 hours. Now see what the task involved. When you clear the room may have a guest, a room may have a terrorist, a room may have both of them, or the room may have none of them. Now, 1,100 such rooms were searched in 72 hours, and in these 72 hours, there was no civilian casualty and there was no collateral damage. I mean, this is a great task for an ordinary person to achieve. We had few generals who commanded very high formations with the legs amputated. General Joshi, General P.S. Joshi, he commanded 12 Corps based at Jodhpur. He had both legs amputated. General Oberoi from Marathas commanded Army Training Command as well as later, an operational command, Western Command at Chandimandir. He had one leg amputated. General Cardozo, I can't say he had one leg amputated because he amputated his own leg with a kukri. He was again a Gurkha officer. He amputated his own leg with kukri because the medical system was not available. So these are the examples. These are the people who have come out of this selection system. And therefore, I have established a very interesting sequence.
We carry out the character hunt by this selection system. Then we harden and purify this character in the crucible of training. In the crucible, you put anything and it becomes more purified. What these goldsmiths use for melting the gold, that is crucible. So you put any gold into it, the purest form comes out. So the training purifies us. The geography tempers us. And then the unit life, our ship life, that puts values into us from our history. So each one of us is a guru of someone or disciple of someone. Vivekananda says our bodies, virtues, intellect, and spirituality, they influence each other. And that is how there is a connection between me and Atresh and General Joshi and Captain Mullah and Captain Samant. This connection survives, this connection is continuous. And that is why this value system keeps continuing in the defense services. Therefore, when we see an Indian soldier, understand that you're not just seeing a warrior. You are seeing a citizen trained in warfare, yet committed to peace. A citizen capable of destruction, but yet guided by the law. Loyal to the flag, yet conscious of the constitution that gives meaning to that flag. Just to, prove what I'm saying, how down to earth we become. This is the photograph of the current Chief of Air Staff. When he went to meet, or in some occasion, he met his teachers. See the photograph that he preferred to take. I'm sure people would have allowed him to stand and, behind them or something. But this is what he is after becoming the Chief of Air Staff. So that is the kind of value system that you have. So that is the end of part 1 of part 1. Now let us start with the part 2. I don't know, Navnath sir, how much time I have.
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Take another 15 minutes or so.
No, sir. Please take your time. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I told you earlier, what Indian youth must learn is the subject and not can learn. So my focus is accordingly. Indian youth belongs to the same country as the Indian Defense Forces belong. He is also subject to the same values and same traditions. Therefore, I don't see any reasons why he can't extract the same values as the defense forces can extract from this country. चीटी होती है ना, छोटी चीटी एंट, वो हमेशा गुड़ और चीनी को ढूंढ लेती है. Have you ever seen a chitty going to a house where, God forbid, but everyone is diabetic? कभी सुना है आपने चीटी को बताते हुए कि नहीं यार, आज कोई चीनी और गुड़ मिला नहीं तो मैं सूजी लेके आ गई? Not possible. It will go to another house, it will go to another mohalla, it will go to anywhere, but it will get चीनी and गुड़. राजहंस आपको पता है, अगर आप उसको पानी और दूध का मिक्सचर दे दो तो उसमें से वो दूध पीता है. अगर आप व्हाइट कलर उसमें डाल दो तो कुछ नहीं पिएगा. So youth today has to have an eye for values. And there is no dearth of values. Even in this society, which I have seen people calling, I belong to the same society, so I am justified to be corrupt. No, this society has got a lot of values. I will take 2-3 examples before I go ahead as to how this value system still exists. And since most of you are from Pune, I will take some examples from Pune. The first example that I take is Chitade Bandhu Mithai Wale. For all those who don't know, Chidrai Bandhu Mithai Wale is a snacks chain based out of Pune. This started somewhere in the mid of last century, 1939 or 40 it started, and thereafter it continued. So when the founder father was handing over his business to the children, he gave them one advice कि जिस दिन आपको ये लगेगा ना, it was a dairy then, it was not a snack chain, it was चितड़े dairy, so दूध का धंधा था पूरा. So he said जिस दिन आपको ये लगे ना कि दूध में थोड़ा पानी डालते हैं, उस दिन आप धंधा छोड़ दो और कहीं नौकरी पकड़ लो अच्छी सी, because thereafter you will not be excellent, thereafter people will not have faith in you. I am not primarily from Pune, I am from Mumbai, but I have tremendous faith in Chitrai Bandhu. If you go to the original Chitrai Bandhu shops there, I mean, nothing wrong meant, but their attitude is not very good. When you go to the Chitrai Bandhu shops, you're not felt wanted. Like you go to some of the shops, you feel. But there, उनका माल इतना अच्छा है, the complete purity. जब बाहर से इतनी न्यूज आती है, I have complete faith that here there is no adulteration. Now that is the kind of value that the Chitrai Bandhu has maintained. You take another example of Jangli Maharaj Road in Pune. This road is legendary for being pothole-free road. It is built by a contractor, Recondo. This company was, run by two Parsi brothers in 1970s. Now, what I heard of is that when this contractor was invited, he told those days probably PWD or whichever organization gave out the contract. He put two conditions. One is, I will not give you any bribe. Number one. Number two, this road will not be given for any mandap construction, pendal construction. And both the demands were agreed by those days administrators, those days politicians. And it's not very old, it is just about 50 years back. And thereafter, the contractor employed the best technique, the best material, and gave a guarantee for 10 years for repair free of cost. Today, 50 years, I don't think anything other than just the surfacing of the road has been done. That is the kind of values, that is the kind of people we had. So we need not justify कि आज की दुनिया ऐसी है. He was never given a contract thereafter, unfortunately. But he also never came saying, okay, the first condition, I am relaxing. I'll give you bribe. No, he never came. He said, तुम मेरे को नहीं धंधा देना, मत दो. But I will not stoop down in my values. Another example at the cost of another 2 minutes, Navnath sir. A few years back, just about 3-4 years back, there was a flyover in Chandni Chowk in Pune, which was demolished to give way to the new flyover which has come now. A good company, which was famous for demolishing some buildings in Delhi, Noida, they were employed for this, and they went through the various design documents in PWD, and they put the required explosive charge, and they burst the charge. To their surprise, the bridge didn't collapse. Many of you would be knowing this case just about 3-4 years back. Then they went back to the organizers, to the original construction company. So the construction company said, we wanted the bridge to last a little longer than what we promised. So we put some additional iron into it and better concrete into it. And therefore the bridge probably didn't collapse. Now, this is the value system that we already had. So therefore, there is no requirement for the youth to say today that I belong to a society where there is corruption, which is devalued, and therefore are my values. That is just a justification. Now the question is, what do you want? You want to be successful or you want to be a legend? If you want to be successful, work hard, face challenges. That, of course, you can't help. Know people, place your people at the required place, use shortcuts, and get success. We have people who got success. We had Saharas, we had Kingfishers, we had Lalit Modis, very successful people of their time. See what has happened to them. But do you want to be extraordinary? Then work hard, face challenges. That cannot be done away with. But with discipline, with strong moral values, and there are no shortcuts. In the beginning of the talk, I said whether to accept us as role model is completely up to you. I also gave you the value system in defense forces and value system in the civilian counterparts that you have with you. The values in civil system has not died. In fact, it cannot die because we all belong to the same country, India, and the spirit of India, as I said, is indestructible. Society has got both elements. You have to become a Rajhans to select the best. दूध पानी से अलग करना काम आपका है. Whom to choose as role models is totally your choice. But if India has to grow, the values must be infused. And what are these values? Build character in early stage of life. Some of you are still young. Some of you are parents of young people. Like पाप का घड़ा होता है ना, वैसे संस्कारों का भी घड़ा होता है. और एक बार ये घड़ा गलत चीजों से भर जाए तो उसको नहीं बदल सकते. For small children, you know, their fathers are heroes and their mothers are bestest. What you do is gospel, what you say is gospel, and what you do is ideal. If you spit pan on the roads and walls, he knows that is good thing to do. If you break signals, he knows it is good to do that. And you're not only teaching him to break signal or spit pan, you are killing his inhibitions. He now gets a free chit to do anything under the sun. I am reminded of a small story which, you know, when we were youngsters, we used to be told. There was a murderer who got death sentence. So उसको पूछा तुम्हारी आखिरी ख्वाहिश क्या है? So he says, I want to meet my mother. So very fine. The mother was told कि आपका बच्चा आपको बुलाना चाहता है. Mother was very happy कि इस लड़के ने मेरे साथ कितने सालों से बात नहीं की. चलो अभी अच्छा है कि वो मेरे से बात करना चाहता है. She felt कि मैं जाऊंगी उधर, मेरे को ये जप्पी मारेगा and we will, you know, remember old things. So she came. बट इसने झप्पी वगैरह नहीं मारी, उसने उसका कान खींचा और कान खींच के बोला कि जिस दिन मैं फर्स्ट में था और मैंने पेंसिल चोरी किया था, उस वक्त अगर आप मेरे को रोकते ना तो आज मैं ये मर्डर नहीं करता. तो चिल्ड्रन आर वेरी वेरी डेलिकेट. हैंडल देम विद केयर. So building character in early stages of life is very, very important. Walk the talk. If you want to hardwire values in the next generation, in your children, in your subordinates, in your society, you have to walk the talk. आप मोबाइल के साथ नहीं घूम सकते और ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि बच्चे किताब पढ़ेंगे. You can't move with mobiles and expect them to read books. You can't continue doing wrong things and expect them to, you know, do right things all through. You have to walk the talk. Hold welfare of nation, family, organization above your own. You heard the adage, safety, honor, welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. And your own safety, your own ease, comfort comes last always and every time. This is as much applicable for the defense forces as it is applicable. The society has given you a lot. The country has given you a lot. Your family has given you a lot. Think of their welfare. That's your duty, moral duty. Discrimination is always counterproductive. This is self-explanatory. If you want to be bound internally, you have to forget the external differences to remain together. Fairness to others and honesty to yourself. I very recently heard of a case, someone in Kerala, a rickshaw driver, he got a bag containing 5 lakh rupees and some documents. A rickshaw driver, how much he must be earning? 50,000 rupees? Let us say. I don't know how much they earn, but yeah, approximately 50,000 rupees. 10 times his 10 months amount. But you know what he did? He went to the nearest police station and handed over that money to the person whom it belonged to. He can come and claim it. ये चीजें हमको बोलने को बहुत अच्छा लगता है, तो करने को क्यों नहीं अच्छा लगता है? If a 50,000 earner can leave 5 lakhs 10 times, at least हम हमारी कीमत क्या हमारे अर्निंग से 10 गुना कम से कम रख सकते हैं? I am sure there are people in the gathering who are earning 2 lakhs rupees, 5 lakhs rupees, 10 lakhs rupees. Can we decide that my cost is, if I am earning 5 lakhs, my cost is 50 lakhs. 50 lakhs के नीचे करप्शन मैं नहीं करूंगा, उसके आगे करना है तो करूंगा. Can we do that? See if you can do this. Discipline. In fact, discipline is the ये गलतफहमी है अंग्रेजी में. बिकॉज अंग्रेजी में डिसिप्लिन एक चीज है और सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन अलग चीज है. तो अगर डिसिप्लिन फॉलो करना है ना, तो अंग्रेजी में मत करो, बिकॉज देयर डिसिप्लिन इज फॉर अदर, सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन इज फॉर सेल्फ. तो वो संस्कृत में, हिंदी में करो. दैट इज अनुशासन. फॉलो अनुशासन. व्हाट यू एक्सपेक्ट अदर्स, प्लीज फॉलो इट योरसेल्फ. वेरी 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 very important. Like we've seen, if you want to become legend, discipline is the least thing that you can do. And last but not the least, moral courage. Moral courage and forthrightness. Imagine what Field Marshal Manik Shah, what he did. He told the Prime Minister those days that I am not ready for war today. You will have to wait for so many months if we want to win against Pakistan. Forthright, he was not worried. And then he went and asked, do you want me to resign? Under what clause do I resign? As a mental case or on, medical grounds. There are stories. I mean, I don't know whether he has really said so, but these are the stories. So forthrightness is very, very important in all fields of life. So there I come to the end of my talk. To conclude, I would say the value system in our country, that India has not died and it will not die in this country. Whom you have your role models is completely up to you. You can have armed forces as role model. You can have all those cases which I have told you as role models. But values you must have. स्वातंत्र्यवीर सावरकर said, देहाकडून देवाकडे जाताना मध्ये देश लागतो आणि त्या देशाचं आपण देणं लागतो. Philosophically, I can't translate it, but word to word translation is, on the path from your body to the Almighty, we pass through our country, and to the country we owe a debt. The nation gives us identity, it gives us safety, it gives us opportunity. And we must repay that debt with service to the nation. Finally, the message from Guru Nanak, Kirat karo, naam japo, wand chakho. work hard and honestly, always remember God, and share with needy. With that, I come to the end of my talk. The questions from the participants will be taken after all the sessions. So I will request you to hold to your questions. We'll do that later.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir.
Jai Hind, Bharat, Bharatvarsh Mahan.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir.
Thank you so much.
Valuable, very versatile, and very deep touching thought.
And my sincere apologies for if I have crossed my time limits.
No, it's okay, sir. It's beautiful. Rather, it's needed to be more. But yes, we are very happy to have you all with this thought-provoking session. The way you put with the values, with the way you put our culture, the way you put that defense, what carry that humanity for the nation and fraternity altogether. It's a really wonderful input, and we are going to be sensitize ourselves. Sir, thank you for your thoughtful and deep touching our souls for this particular session. We'll come back with the question and answer session after having another few of our speakers here. Now it is my privilege to introduce our another leading youngster who is here going to talk about that really India is growing. Absolutely, is India really growing? Friends, this youth is none other but Dhruv Deokar, who is basically our Youth Indian wing leader. So I'm very proud to be again introduced here. So let me have his intro. Next slide, please. About Dhruv, he is right now studying in MIT Vishwa Shanti Gurukul in Pune. He is an innovative guy. He is always creative all the time. His field of interest is business management economics. Actually, the DNA is running from his father and mother, though both are business people. And definitely, his interest would be in business management and economics. Really, he possesses the qualities which really dedicated and enthusiastic approach in his every action. Because I experienced with him, whenever he comes with some thought process, he is a more innovative in his own logic. He asks question to himself and then creates something creative. He demonstrates academic excellence absolutely. Recently, he was competing in entrepreneurial program and he was very well, marched towards the excellence in his activity in academic. Further is very important is that he's committed to expand knowledge and skill. He's a hungry of knowledge. In this age where he basically the other youth. So rightly, Vidur sir, the way you put the thought of the values and culture, he is one of that misal that Dhruva will definitely come again, thought process and to meet the things what the Indian basically would like to do. He is a young entrepreneur and definitely we are looking him to be better in days to come. But yes, about his leadership, he is leading a chair at FIIP, Youth India wing of our trust. So it's a proud moment to call Mr. Dhruva. Dhruva, please come and explain your concern, innovative, and approachable thought process towards today's youth that what actually is India really growing. Over to you, Dhruva. Please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dhruv Nevrekar. So today I'm here at the occasion of Indian independence. So आज का जो मुहूर्त है भारतीय स्वतंत्रता दिवस का, ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रहा है हमारे भारत के इतिहास के लिए। भारत के इतिहास के बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो फिर भारत का इतिहास बहुत ही ज़्यादा डाइवर्स है। इतना डाइवर्स है कि it's been 5,000 years from the history. It has been recorded that India's history is one of the most diverse history and one of the most longest history. So I'll move the slide. So हम पहले इंडिया के सक्सेस स्टोरी के बारे में बात करेंगे। तो आज तक इंडिया ने क्या क्या सक्सेस हासिल की है। तो इंडिया पहले से ही सक्सेसफुल था ऐसे हम कह नहीं सकते। अगर हम बहुत पहले के इंडिया को देखें, जब वो भारत कहलाया जाता था, हिंदुस्तान कहलाया जाता था, उस वक्त इंडिया को सोने की चिड़िया बोला जाता था। लेकिन उसके बाद मुगल्स आए, ब्रिटिशर्स आए और फिर उन्होंने हमारे ऊपर कब्जा किया, हमको लूटा और फिर हमारे रिसोर्सेस सब छीन लिए। उसके बाद फिर ब्रिटिशर्स ने जो हमारे ऊपर अत्याचार किया, कॉलोनाइज किया इंडिया को, उसके बाद से इंडिया का ग्रोथ बहुत ही गिर गया। एंड देन later after 1980s I can say the real growth economically, socially and environmentally, the real growth of India again started to begin. So in terms of infrastructure growth, India have played a significant growth. India's infrastructure in metropolitan cities is so significant that it is now compared to the developed cities, developed countries. And the demographic dividend, which also means that the demography of India which controls the money supply in the economy. मतलब वो एक certain age group रहता है हर एक country का, approximately from age group 15 to age group 65, जो देश मतलब country के earners रहते हैं और बाकी के जो age group रह गए वो dependent रहते हैं ये earners के ऊपर। तो फिर ये जो demographic dividend है उसका weightage before getting independence it was very less in the quantity, very less in weightage, but now after independence the weightage have been really grown, and that's why the economy of India has been impacted so positively with the demographic dividend that now it is serving over the globe its services. As you know, I guess as you know that India is serving the most IT services. Like India is on top tier of IT services. It is global hub for providing technological IT services, and the healthcare advancement India have achieved is very significant that you can afford the healthcare in India very really cheap uh, compared to US or any other foreign countries. And the greatest news we recently heard that now India has reached to the top fourth economy. It's the world's fastest growing GDP. Moving to next slide. Just a second. Okay, so I'll continue with the world's fastest growing economy. So India is world's fastest growing economy. It's really good news for all Indians, and India is really successful in its story till now. But today, at the Independence Day, uh, what do you think? Should we celebrate our independence or should we procrastinate our future of India? Or should we think on present actions? I want answers from the audience because I'm going to ask you questions and you have to answer, okay? May I get the answers? Okay, no problem. So
You ask question again, Dhruva.
So my question is, at the occasion of Independence Day, where all Indians are being patriotic, should we discuss the history and the glorifications of what historians did, what the freedom fighters did, or we should procrastinate our India's future, or should we discuss on present of India?
Legacy is a history. So having a legacy is very, very important and booster to every Indian.
Yeah.
But considering the great sacrifices of our freedom fighters, soldiers, and every person who did a great, marvelous work for the nation building, definitely they should be remembered. But past has to bring in the present, and the present should be basically highlighted because present moves with the future. So we must basically discuss about the present, and that will give us enlightenment by taking that legacy of the past. I think that Dhruva towards your thought process.
Okay, that's really wonderful thought. Yeah, CBK sir, you can continue.
To second Dr. Popat Rao, in one line I can say, while we celebrate, we discuss our future as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your wonderful answer, sir. So, Dr. Mohite sir have really given the proper answer to the question. Yeah, past should be discussed and celebrated to bring the patriotic feeling in all the Indians, and not just patriotic feeling, but the feeling of existence, we can say. And with the past, we can correlate it with the present by learning through the mistakes and learning through the successes too. So today, we are not here to glorify the past or predict the future. We are here to talk about present, because the present is where real work happens, where choices are made, and where India's growth story is begin to write. So in today's session of Is India Really Growing, we are going to discuss about India's present condition and what should we do to improve the India at whole. So to explain how India is growing or not, I like to compare India with China, which is world's most manufacturing country. Okay. Yeah. So India versus China. So why India versus China? So the answer lies in history. India and China both are neighbor first of all, and if we compare both in 1980s, both the countries were equivalent in terms of economy, in terms of politics, in terms of social in terms of social existence. So China and India was nearly equivalent, and later 1980s, suddenly China got so much developed that now we cannot even compare India and China in terms of growth and in terms of economy, in terms of anything, because China have identified some pointers which India now have realized. So later 1980s, I'll explain how. In 1980s, India and China stood remarkably similar at the ground. Like the economies per GDP were under $300, both of the countries, and their agricultural, like they were dependent whole on agriculture. Their infrastructure was weak, the literacy rate was low, and the population, nearly 80% of population was under poverty line. But later, under Deng Xiaoping, the China launched sweeping market-oriented reforms from 1978 onwards, transforming it rural economy, inviting massive foreign investment and becoming the factory of the world. By building world-class manufacturing zone and export infrastructure, it focused heavily on vocation training, urbanization, and long-term industrial policies. India, by contrast, delayed major reforms until 1991. After the balance of payments crisis, while India's service sector grew rapidly, its manufacturing base remained weaker, infrastructure growth slower, and labor reforms less aggressive. Over 4 decades, this difference is timing, possibly policy execution, and scale of investment meant China could lift hundreds of millions out of poverty, dominate global chains, and becoming world's second largest economy. While India is fighting to hit to get developed country, and now India is again the world's fastest economy. But India still lags behind. So if we compare, I will compare the statistical data of India and China, how behind India is from China. Like in 1980s, India and China were equivalent, but now in 2025, what are the changes? So firstly, we will see what are the GDP differences. Today, India lies at $4.19 trillion of GDP, and China at $19 trillion GDP. This difference between the GDP is so remarkable that personally I get so motivated to run for India's success. And the GDP growth rate over here, India is uh, getting over the China because India's GDP growth rate is 6.3 percentage and China's is 5 percentage. And moving to per capita GDP, now here India lacking behind. India's per capita GDP is just $2,900 and China's per capita GDP is estimated around $12,700. The export difference between India and China is around $821 billion India and $3 trillion of China. So these differences, what does this shows? This shows that how China is adopting whole situation of the country, how they're adopting manufacturing phase of their country, while India is more dominant over the service sectors and lacking behind the manufacturing sectors. And later we will also see what are the impacts of lacking behind in manufacturing sector. So manufacturing share of GDP in India is just 16% and it is so consistent from over a decade. And for China, the GDP which is produced from manufacturing sector is 27 percentage. The research and development spending of India over the GDP is just 0.8 percentage, and for China it's 2.4 percentage. The poverty rate is 10% for India, 1% for China. The infrastructure quality of India is improving day by day by developing highways, metros, digital penetration, but there still is gap in rural and urban area in India. In China, the advanced infrastructure integrated high-speed rail, border industrial zones. Military strength. Military strength is comparative of India and China because India lies at fourth largest military power and China on third. But the budget for military and defense spending is just 78.7 billion dollars for India, and for China it is 246 billion dollars. The foreign direct investment for India is ranked 15th in global presence, which is 50 to 70 billion dollars annually, and China is leading the chart. So I guess this was the boring part because there was a lot of figures. But moving to the real problem, the middle income trap. The middle income trap, I guess, is the biggest threat for India today. So, first of all, what is middle income trap? Do anybody know what is middle income trap from the audience? Just briefly. Okay, so the middle income trap, मिडिल इनकम ट्रैप में क्या होता है? मिडिल इनकम ट्रैप जब एक इकोनॉमी बहुत लो फेज पे रहती है, द इकोनॉमी इज पुअर, इकोनॉमी जब पुअर रहती है तो उसके मैन्युफैक्चरिंग रेट्स, द लेबर वेजेस इज लेस, so the investment over the low income countries become so affordable to the developed country that they start to invest in the countries, just like South Africa and Brazil. Both countries were so poor in economical terms that the foreign investment increased over there. But later, when the countries become the middle income the countries, the investment of foreign suddenly dropped. The reason is, when the low income country grows to middle income country, what happens? The low wages increases, the labor demand falls, and due to that, the the foreign investors starts to hop out the country and starts to find new low income country. The reason behind this is, the foreign countries which are developed and which are superior to other countries just seek for development of their own countries, and for development they need resources, and low income countries, other countries, they can be their resources can be extracted efficiently with low cost. So India was one of the poor country, but now it has become middle income country. So the catch over here is, here comes the dilemma. India has become the middle income company, but it can be stuck just as middle income country, because to become high income country, the country may notice that they have to get over the international trade. They have to build their significant image in the international presence. To make it, first of all, they have to be economically independent. They do not have to be dependent on imports, first of all. And India now is really dependent on imports, I guess, because India do not have such great manufacturing strength. And in my preference, like in my opinion, India should develop its manufacturing industry, because with manufacturing industry, what happens actually is, the low skilled labor which do not have very skilled knowledge, the manufacturing sector provides them employment. With the employment, the real income of low skilled employees, low skilled laborers increases, and with increase in real increase in real income, the economy gradually grows in long term. And when the low skilled low skilled laborers are provide employment, the poverty rate also decreases, and with this the country also becomes independent for producing the goods and services. But in today's condition of India is not dominant over its manufacturing sector, but is really dominant in its service sectors, which is also good thing, but it also depicts a uh, bad indications to our futures, because this approach of service orientation is just a temporary, is just a current assets. Until and unless India generates a permanent asset, it cannot exit the middle income trap. And the threat we discussed now further also shows where we lack for India. India really lacks in job creation. इंडिया में पॉपुलेशन इतनी इतनी बढ़ गई है, अभी पॉपुलेशन 140 करोड़ पे है, लेकिन 140 करोड़ के कंपैरिजन में इंडिया में जॉब क्रिएशन नहीं है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट बिल्कुल भी नहीं है उतने अगर पॉपुलेशन के साथ कंपेयर किया तो। क्योंकि इंडिया का जो सिचुएशन है, हमने जो डिस्कस किया है, it is so service based oriented that service based orientation needs skilled workers, और जो इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन है उनमें से स्किल्ड वर्कर्स का रेशियो बहुत कम है। उसकी वजह से स्किल्ड वर्कर का डिमांड बढ़ गया है लेकिन सप्लाई घट गया है, क्योंकि स्किल्ड वर्कर है नहीं, और स्किल्ड वर्कर के लिए लगता है क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन जो इंडिया लैक करता है अगेन। तो स्किल्ड वर्कर ना होने की वजह से डिमांड ज़्यादा है, और डिमांड ज़्यादा है लेकिन स्किल्ड वर्कर कम है, तो वो एफिशिएंसी भी ऑटोमेटिकली कम होती है। तो जो स्किल्ड वर्कर है ऑलरेडी उनको तो मिल रहा है एम्प्लॉयमेंट, लेकिन जो बाकी की रिमेनिंग पॉपुलेशन है, जो मैक्सिमम है, जो मेजॉरिटी है, उनको तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं मिल रहा है। तो उसके लिए सॉल्यूशन क्या है? अगेन द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग industry. Manufacturing industry of India is stuck at just 16%, and I think it should reach over 30% at least to get rid of this unemployment issue. The second and the third point where we lack is income inequality. Because of unemployment and skilled and unskilled differentiation of labors have created income inequality. If we see the datas in India, just 1% of people of India earns over 40% of income. Only 1% of people runs the 40% of economy. Like, can you imagine? The 60% of finance is with all 99%, the remaining 99%. So this income inequality is really harmful for India. The fifth is pollution. Yeah, pollution is a majority environmental what you can say, धोखा है वो हमारे लिए, हमारे हेल्थ के लिए। इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन, दे कैन नॉट बी हेल्दी विथ पोल्यूशन, बिकॉज द ग्लोबल वार्मिंग एंड द पोल्यूशन इज रियली इंक्रीजिंग। कि अभी मैं एज आई लिव इन पुणे, मैं पुणे में रहता हूँ, अभी मौसम बारिश का था, लेकिन बारिश कभी भी आती थी, मतलब कभी आती थी कभी नहीं आती थी, और जब आती थी बहुत जल्दी से बहुत ज़ोरों से आती थी, कभी बिल्कुल नहीं आती थी, धूप आती थी। तो फिर जो क्लाइमेटिक चेंजेस है ना, बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो गया है, क्लाइमेट बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो गया है। उसकी वजह से जो ओवरऑल एनवायरनमेंट है, एनवायरनमेंट अच्छे से सरवाइव नहीं कर पा रहा। इस वजह से जो हमारे प्लांट स्पीशीज़ है वो डिस्ट्रॉय होते जा रहे हैं, एनिमल्स है उनके हैबिटेट में बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं, बहुत इश्यूज आ रहे हैं। उसके बाद पुअर हेल्थ केयर प्रोविजन। Before I mentioned that India have significantly grow over its healthcare. Yeah, it have grown, but here it has inequality again. क्योंकि अगर हमने देखा तो रूरल एरियाज में मोस्टली, बहुत बहुत रूरल एरियाज में हेल्थ केयर प्रोविजन नहीं है, बेसिक फर्स्ट एड भी नहीं है। I don't know why, but the government should focus on the healthcare, because the health of India's population is first priority. It should be first priority for India. Moving to weak bureaucracy, yeah, this is the strong point, because क्योंकि देखो, एक ब्यूरोक्रेसी कौन से भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या कंट्री को चलाने का एक कोर रहता है, और वो कोर ही ट्रिगर करता है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के सक्सेस को, बिकॉज ब्यूरोक्रेसी इज द थिंग विच focuses on ethics and legal movements of the organization. So when our India's bureaucracy as it is weak, if we can see in politics also, the politicians, like I have noticed many politicians just just emphasizes vague activities. यार मतलब कुछ तो ऐसे चीज़ पे एम्फोसाइज करो जो इंडिया के ग्रोथ को मोटिवेट करने वाला है, इंडिया के यूथ को मोटिवेट करने वाला है, लेकिन नहीं, इनको मतलब थोड़ा बकवासी टॉपिक रहता है पॉलिटिक्स में, अगर ऐसा देखा जाए तो। लेकिन बहुत से पॉलिटिशियंस है जो इंडिया के डेवलपमेंट के बारे में सोचते हैं। एंड द next point, which is over dependence of services sector, which is again related to manufacturing sector, is again the point where we lack, because कौन से भी चीज़ पे डिपेंडेंट रहने के लिए हम अगर कौन से भी चीज़ पे डिपेंडेंट रहे तो फिर वो हमारा नुकसान ही करता है इन लॉन्ग टर्म। लैक इन ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस। सो इंडिया का बिजनेस कल्चर कैसा है? अभी यहाँ पे मोस्टली बिजनेसमैन ही है, तो फिर मैं सबको पूछना चाहूँगा, आपको क्या लगता है इंडिया का बिजनेस कल्चर कैसा है? एनीवन?
It's good, Dhruv. It depends on what type of business you are into, what type of segments you are into. As I'm in pharma, I think pharma is growing very well.
Okay.
A lot of export is going on in pharma sector. Even on the contrary, not it is only allopathy, but Ayurveda and yoga and that type of segment is growing drastically.
Okay.
So I think so. It depends on business to business.
Yeah.
Few business are very well. They are doing very well globally.
Exactly. It depends on business to business, as we can say the renewable energy sources like solar panels, solar energy. The government is spending much on the renewable energy because it have gone hyped over global. तो फिर क्या हो रहा है, इंडिया सब्सिडी तो प्रोवाइड कर रही है बहुत सोलर पैनल्स को, लेकिन अभी यहाँ पे सोलर पैनल्स के बारे में हम बात नहीं कर रहे, हम ओवरऑल स्टार्टअप कल्चर के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, या फिर नॉट ऑल्सो स्पेसिफिक ऑन आयुर्वेदिक और मेडिकल फील्ड। बिकॉज देखो, अगर ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी को ग्रो करना है तो हमें हर एक पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचना पड़ेगा। आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि इंडिया इज नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन बिजनेस कल्चर, बट आई एम सेइंग इज इंडिया शुड फोकस मोर ऑन दिस, क्योंकि इंडिया का जो बजट है, बजट एलोकेशन सब्सिडीज में इतना बहुत ज़्यादा सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं है, and I think it should be more significant in terms of providing help to the startups, as the startups and innovation of the startups is required to development of the country, and especially for India. The next point, which is infrastructure deficit. India, I cannot say India is lacking infrastructure. India is really good at infrastructure, but just in metropolitan cities. If we go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, the infrastructure, it lacks really. It really lacks. Moving to the next point, the GDP, the research and development spending on the spendings on research and development is really less, that it's just 0.8% of GDP. Whereas we saw that China is really good at it. It spends over 2.4% of its GDP on research and development. As I mentioned previously, that research and development, which is also innovation, is really important for a country to grow, because with research and development and innovations, the country can earn by exporting these innovations, and not just exporting but making the infrastructure more developed. So these are the overall things which India currently lacks. But the impact this on India, what is the impact? First of all, brain drain. So when we talk about the skilled labors of India and the unskilled labors of India, the demand of skilled labor in India is really high, but the supply of skilled labor is low, is because of brain drain. Like, brain drain is also one important reason for this shortage of supply. What happens in India, the economy has grown very significantly. Like, it's the fastest economy in today's time, but the value for skilled laborers is really less. So what happens, the workers who works in India and are really skilled, they seek jobs in developed countries. So what happens, the skilled labor of India migrates, and with migration, the India loses its skilled laborers. So what happens again, the supply goes more down, and with more supply shortage, the efficiency again drops. So, and it also uh, and then the next point is youth joblessness. So the unskilled labor, which is not at all demanded in the market, because the market of India is completely not completely but majorly focused on service sector, which requires skilled labor. So the unskilled labors, like not unskilled but less skilled labors, is not demanded in the service sectors. So many of them are unemployed in today's condition. The climatic change, we previously talked again, that the global warming, the disruption in climatic changes, it's really disturbing whole whole food chain also, and many diseases are spreading over today. And like, I have also suffered last week from fever and from cough, but now I'm okay. So randomly peoples are getting virals and all. So this should not happen, because health is priority for all. And then again, the public trust issues. Why these trust issues are made? First of all, we will move to the political side, because India's politics is just on commitments, like not just on commitments, but it is on commitments. Many commitments are made but not completed, which breaks public trust from the government, from India. So basically, this also leads to brain drain. So the skilled workers who have trust issue now with the government, with the India, moves to another country to seek value. The healthcare accessibility, The rural villages are not getting healthcare accessibility, which leads to death of many, the injuries of many, and many peoples get really impacted, really traumatized with these incidents, with the incidents like uh, in corona, in villages there was no facility for ventilators and oxygen masks, and with that they suffered a lot. So this was one example. Moving to the digital divide, digital divide is also made in rural and urban areas, and digital divide really plays a vast role in education. The education of India today is really scarce, like it is so spreaded, it is so separated, I mean to say. So how it is separated? Today's education which is provided in schools is not so much oriented to skill developments. It is more of theoretical knowledges, and the theoretical knowledge, yeah, it is important, I'm not saying it is not important, but at a point any person requires practical knowledge of life over theoretical knowledge. But till his maturity of this understanding, he's just studying theoretical knowledge, and he do not have any practical knowledge till the time passes, and the time of learning, like this science says the best time to learn is childhood, because at childhood the learning capacity is really quick and really great. So the education of India creates digital divide too, because in rural areas the students are not taught how to use technology, and today's generation requires the education of technology, because technology is the future and is the present too. With technology now today, AI, everybody uses AI, and everybody have heard of ChatGPT, maybe, like it's a wonderful chatbot. So with this chatbot we can research a lot of things, but because of digital divide many students cannot use this technology, nor this, nor like many of technology are undiscovered to the rural areas or tier 2 tier 3 cities of India. So this digital divide also impacts education, and this education impacts on the skills of an individual, and the skills are again so lack again are so behind the time that they cannot meet today's demand of employment. And also the infrastrain. So what is infrastrain? First of all, infrastrain is that when the demand for specific location increases, but the infrastructure of the location has not improved at all. So what happens? So much conjugations, and like it gets so suffocated over there that many of them gets so confused and so pissed off that their things like, what is this, yeah, ये क्या चल रहा है, मतलब for example in Pune also there are many potholes in roads. पुणे पुणे भी अभी टीयर 1 सिटी है, लेकिन तभी भी पुणे का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इतना खास नहीं है if we see in the town. So infrastrain is one of the impact. So moving to the solutions, so I have divided the solutions into 7 parts. तो फिर ये 7 parts कौन से पहले हम समझ लेते हैं. सोशल पार्ट बहुत क्रूशियल होता है, क्योंकि सोशल ह्यूमन का नेचर ही है सोशल रहना. नो ह्यूमन कैन सर्वाइव विदाउट सोशल इंटरैक्शंस. he will get depressed, anxious, and just die out of that depression if he gets alone. So social connectivity is important in today's time. Not only today's, it was recorded in history also that social interactions is core of humans. So in social thing where there is group, there is community, there is society, the country itself is a society, and the society there are diverse peoples. Back in 2024, 15th August, I took session on Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. We talk about diversity in India over there. So uh, the diversities in India is really helpful because it brings perspective. It brings different perspective to one platform and makes the community work on the issue. So the social factors, like the social solutions, which is really must for India, is first of all women empowerment, because females in India are not valued at all. Most of the females in India are still housewives, and this equality should be provided to women. uh, and maybe India is working on this because uh, today for attending the session I was coming from the college and the I saw two or three rickshaw drivers who were females, and from past week I'm seeing that every conductor in bus is female. So India is approaching towards women empowerment, and which is also a part of FIIP. FIIP is also oriented on youth empowerment, because youth empowerment is really strong point to develop, as women are significant part of our population, and if this population are sitting at home and doing nothing, it's not it there is no point in it. Okay, so the productivity of this remaining population, which is women, if they are coming and working, they're helping the economy to grow. Think, India is the fastest economy till now, and if this happens in large scale, how India will grow. Second is technological growth. uh, sorry, before technological growth I will cover more 2 points of social activities, which is education revolution. So education should be revoluted to practical knowledge, to digital knowledge, and this knowledge should be provided physically, not online. Digital knowledge should be provided physically. This is my opinion, because if we provide knowledge online, the interactions are unproductive, and physical interactions are so productive that the voice, when we speak, the voice get connects with the listeners. That's why physical interactions are really important in any part of individual. The curriculum should be updated of India, because the India's history is really hidden. Yeah, hidden. The students of India, like now I'm staying with a law student who is really good at history of India. So one day we were just brainstorming on India's history. So we concluded with this topic, that how India represents its history through education. So what the conclusion was, that India's history is really restricted and manipulated in the textbooks of CBSE board or any board of India. So this manipulation of history do not just provide malinformation to the students, but also loses the identity of India itself. So what's the point of providing the misinformation or the wrong history of India? So first of all, curriculum should be updated, and then expanding the skill development programs. Skill development programs are must, so must, very must. And now, like, as I am the IB learner student, so I am critically focused to skill developments, so I can see the vision how skill is, how prioritizing skill is really important for an individual, because the skill is own asset, like it is the biggest asset we can have is our own skills, and through this asset we can create multiple assets. So this is one point again. Moving to the next, technological developments, accelerating new renewable energy projects. Like I mentioned before, India is investing on solar, wind and bioenergy technologies, and is also trying to promote research and development. The startup ecosystem is also trying to innovate itself through digitalization, and it is, again, the government is also trying to support the startups, but the support is minimum, and this minimum efforts cannot be sufficient, so government should focus on startup ecosystem. Moving to the third point, which is economic economic factors. So manufacturing boost, the economy of India requires manufacturing boost to to the India requires manufacturing boost in order to provide employment for unskilled laborers, to improve supply chain and incentivize exports, to expand production capacity of India, and this also strengthens MSME ecosystem. It provides easy credit, simplify regulations, and facilitate market access. India should also enhance agricultural productivity. In agriculture, the agriculture sector is also vast in India, but the major problem is government is really not again focusing on agricultural factors, because many farmers is not getting benefits or not getting satisfied through doing agriculture. So this satisfaction should be created. Moving to the next, environmental factors. India should accelerate renewable energies projects by reducing dependency on fossil fuels again. So through this, what happens? Fossil fuels generates pollution, and by using renewable energies like solar, the pollution decreases. Yeah, and enhancing agricultural productivity again, because by agriculture, the like the through agriculture, the soil gets matured and matured over time, the cycle repeats, and the soil of India remains fresh, and with the soil contains really good nutrients which is necessary for agriculture. So the crops extracts the minerals and nutrients, and we eat it, so it provides us really healthy nutrients. And with agriculture, the heavy plantation of the crops also provides sufficient natural air. Moving to the political side, the legal reform should be strong enough to process the regulatory streamline, ensure transparent governance, and strengthen contract enforcement. So the corruption should be actually less in comparative to today, because with less corruption, the potholes in the roads will also gradually decrease. And then moving to the public-private partnerships. So to again influence the impact of startup culture in India, the government should start public-private partnerships. So what is it? So government provides private startups or private businesses a chance, an opportunity to collaborate with government, and focus on development, infrastructure, healthcare, technology projects, and innovation. The legal reforms, our bureaucracy should be developed more. And the last point is ethical point, which which also says that ethics is really important for anyone, not just any country but anyone in India. Ethics is important because if India is running unethically, there is no point of this growth because it will be just temporary. And with unethical development, India will lose its trust of public. Okay, so running ethically over all these factors: social, technological, environmental, economic, political, and legal, these all points are connected with ethical factors are the core factors, because I consider it as core, because ethics should be applied in each sector, in each segment of our life and of our like of each process. So by applying ethics in operations, it also provides long term benefits. And so the PPT is done now, but I would like to say that there is a lot of potential. There is a lot potential in India, in India's youth more specifically, because India is the largest population country holding youth, like largest youth holding population. Means, can you imagine how much potential do India have? And with this potential, how much powerful it can get. So India's youth is really important. It is the key to success of India. I would like to re-mention Brigadier Vidur sir's words to represent how India's youth should be. So as India's youth, we have to be we have to be ants who never come back without sugar or jaggery. It's a beautifully structured metaphor which depicts that youth of India should be deeply desperate for country's development and growth, that until they do not achieve success, they can't sit quietly. This should be motivation for India's youth today, and it is necessary. It is necessary for us to develop. So India's story is not just about numbers or GDP charts or global rankings. It's about 1.4 billion beating hearts, each carrying dreams as vast as Himalayas and as deep as Indian Ocean. We have leaped from scarcity to surplus in food, from dial-up phones to world-class digital payments, from struggling post-colonial economy to world's fastest growing major nation. So, is India really growing? Is my question to you all. Is it?
Thank you, Dhruva.
Is it?
Absolutely fantastic the way you put all the thoughts, Dhruva.
Sir,
Really,
just 2 minutes, just 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
it's wonderful. It's really the answer to your question.
Okay.
Yes. Answer is yes.
Okay. So, yeah, definitely. India is growing, but The deeper question is India successful with its growth? And the success in its true sense is not just about rising GDP. It's about ensuring what we as its people are growing with it. Are we growing with it? Growth is not complete if it leaves anyone behind. If any part of community separates from this, then there is no value for the success. Alongside our victories, we still face the shadows of unemployment, inequality, environmental strengths, and social divides. Our challenge and our duty is to turn potential into progress and progress into prosperity. For every Indian, this is the must thing. This Independence Day, let's not just celebrate the freedom and share vision of nation building. So, let's not just celebrate the freedom in the political sense, but embrace economic freedom, social equality, and share vision of nation building. The future of India is not written by governments or policies alone. It is written by the daily choices, the courage, and the collective will of its youth. That means the future, yes, it is in our hands. Because as youth, it's our decision, it's our actions which decides India's future. Not only India's future, but also future of ourselves. So choose wisely. Are you going to change this potential into power or just sit like that? Thank you.
Wonderful, Dhruva. The way you put the solution, it indicates very clearly that how we have to be with upcoming generation. You basically given a deepened thought that you as a youngster, you as a youth of tomorrow, and you have put the thought process with that proper solution, basically highlighted with the values, with the ethical approach. But yes, you comparatively had the thought of that social perspective, technology, environmental aspect, and economical sense, and altogether the political awareness of today and legal perspective. But all definitely with a question and answer, we'll come with a number of questions, and then definitely our audience will have a lot of learning from that particular session too. Thank you very much, Dhruva. Now, the time with legendary personality and the dedicated person who had been with us last time also, none other but ex-air officer, our Ashok Unkule sir, who is going to now address us his thought on this particular 79th Independence Day, which is really a touching one to everyone because we are marching towards excellence as our PM's talk today made us holistic thought process. And I'm proud to introduce here about Ashok ji. He joined Indian Air Force in the year 1962 when I was 2 years old. I'm very happy to say that all. And served for 15 years. Sir, wonderful. Technical experience on the following aircrafts: Tufani, Vampire, Aluchi helicopter, and 12 aircraft engine repair shop. So he's having, the way he has basically contributed our nation. Joined Tata Motors in 1977 and work as a quality assurance in that. Please have his introduction slide, please. Please have his introduction slide. Thank you very much. And work on quality assurance of Tata from 12, 10, and 15, 16 Tata Estate, Seria, Sumo, and Safari Tata 407 and 608. Everybody know the Sumo's history, and he was there with the history, and he still definitely will talk through his talk with this particularly civilian thought process. He spearheaded a pan-India field testing and feedback of heavy-duty vehicles. Though which trucks are there with us in India, we know that Tata, that is what we basically having. Even my one of company is having a number of Tata's vehicles. Lead the team of assembling Unit 613 vehicle at Ukraine. This is what he did his work in automobile industry. So after his post-retirement, what he is doing is conducting workshop here at the Bafna Motors and Navi Mumbai, and instructor at Don Bosco and Own ITI. Sir, it's a great privilege to you to be with us. Please have your thought process on today's topic, especially the way you are going to have Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik, which is going to bridging the civil military understanding. Really, it is I can say the two speaker who basically, started their journey. And this is what the last one, the speaker, is going to have the proper concern needing the knot of that thought process, whatever the two earlier speaker did with the youth and with particularly expecting youth to be and you, sir, to make them how to be the good Nagrik, good citizen. See, over to you, Ashok ji, and guide us. Welcome to this particular thought process. Sir, yes, over to you, Ashok ji. Yes, sir, you can speak. Thank you very much.
I'm thankful.
Yes,
for this opportunities what you gave me by the FIIP directors and authorities. The topic which was given to me by Dr. Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik, bridging the civil and military understanding. Since my experience goes, I was in the military. After that, I served in Tata Motor, as doctor has said, for quite long period. And my experience goes maximum to the technical parts of it. In Indian Air Force also, Indian Air Force, I served as an engine man in N-12 aircrafts, Tufani aircrafts, Alute helicopters, which is still in service. And I got a commendation in Alute helicopter in 1971 war. After that, I joined Tata Motors in 1977. That time in Pune, 1210 was a vehicle which was assembled, then 1516, then 407, 206, 207, then Sumo, and the Sierra, Tata State. So I took this vehicle all over India by driving myself and giving the feedback to the company so that there can be an improvement in the technical form as well as the feedback from the different different companies, at the same time different people, those who are working on that. So today's my topic, since I given to me, is Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik, bridging the civil and military understanding. So Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik is a powerful and timely theme that emphasizes the importance of fostering a mutual respect, communication, and collaboration between the civil population and the armed forces of a nation, which is very much required, very much required. Here is a breakdown and explanation of the theme that could be useful for a speech, article, or essay. Former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, celebrating the soldiers and the farmers in today's context, evolving it to Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik, because it is a reflex of a need of enhance the bond between the soldiers and citizen, especially in the democratic nation, where both play a crucial roles in national development and security. The gap, understanding the divide, civil and military disconnect often arises due to the limited interaction, differing lifestyle, and the lack of awareness. Civilians may not fully grasp the sacrifices and duties of the military life. Military personnel may at times leave understanding soldiers and underappreciating that the larger this one. Why? The next topic, this one is that why bridge the gap is crucial. National unity and the security, policy and the governance, civil and military cooperation is essential in crisis management, disaster management, disaster relief, and the national decision making. Youth inspiration, greater awareness can encourage civil responsibility and possibility, inspire you to serve. Ways to bridge the understanding. Why, how we should do. One is the education and awareness. Include defense education in schools and colleges. Organize talks by various defense personnel in schools and colleges. Next is a cultural exchange and engagement. Celebrate Armed Forces Day and similar events more inclusively. Promote joint initiative, blood donation camp, environmental drives, etc. Media representation. Encourage accurate and respectful portrayal of a military life in media. Avoid sensationalization. Focus on real stories of the courage and sacrifice, as it was told by Brigadier Nevrekar. Civil involvement in the defense activities. Support for Territorial Army, NCC, that is the National Cadet Corps, and other volunteer focuses. Encourage civilians to participate in defense exhibition, parades, and community outreaches by armed forces. Mutual respect is the foundation. I think soldiers fight to protect freedom and the citizens tries to uphold it. Both have roles that are different but equally significant. Mutual respect and empathy can dissolve stereotype and strengthen democracy. I think that is what should take place in different ways. Conclusion. Jai Jawan, Jai Nagrik is not a slogan alone. It is a call to action in a world where the lines between the traditional and the non-traditional threats are blurring. A strong civil and military participants is essential for a resilient nation. Let us work to build a bridge of understanding, appreciation, and collaboration for the present and the future of our country. Mutual respect, that is what I think it should take place, and accordingly, policy and the level collaboration, mutual respect is a foundation, and that is what it should take place. I think I taken the I talked the as far as our subject was given to me by FIIP. I am concluding this, and I'm thankful to you. Thank you.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. But very short and sweet, the way you put the thought process to us, and made very, very important and vibrant thought process by having the thought process from the Vidur sir and from Dhruva, which you carried away and made that knot in that line. So wonderful, sir. Now, over to Navnath. We'll go with this particular thought process related with this area of question and answer. So my request to audience, please raise your questions. So accordingly, our fellow speakers will address, and we will definitely have the thought processing in coming time. So wonderful people, thank you very much. We are waiting for question and answers. If so are there, till that, I request Navnath to have his thought process from that particular, any questions or the audience to thought on that line. Yeah, audience, we are ready. And my speakers also ready. So you can raise question to anyone. Yeah.
Chandra, sir, you are muted.
Yeah, Shantanu sir, unmute it.
I will take a question afterward. Maybe I will just.
Oh yeah, sure. No issue.
Is there any question from audience, please?
I had a question or a comment actually. I'm Shantanu too. I'm son of Brigadier Vidur Nevrekar who spoke today. I was. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I actually wanted to acknowledge the Dhruv's talk. I think it was a very good talk. I think Dhruv really covered a lot of very good points and in a very sort of comprehensive way. So I want to congratulate him first. I just wanted to add something that I did my undergraduate, my bachelor's in economics, and I'm currently doing a PhD around the Indian economy in a way. So I come across a lot of work on this, and I think something that has been routinely cited as one of the reasons why India lags behind China is the weakness of our local government, so our panchayats, our municipalities, and weakness not in terms just of financial power. Like there is, even if money is added, it's something about institutionally being weak, not being able to have the same kind of strength to take initiative to implement strong government programs that are not controlled by certain local interests and power groups, to be free of them and being able to okay, I thought I heard something, sorry, but so there is a significant amount of weakness in the local government structures, including our panchayats and municipalities. That kind of is one of the biggest reasons. And in China, what they managed to do was their village level and town level local bodies, village governments were the primary site from where a lot of the initiatives of city-based and village-based industries came up. Whereas in our country, that is not a phenomenon. We don't have very, very local level bodies being able to take the same kind of initiative, the same kind of strong leaps in industrializing, in building a manufacturing base. And so there is a larger institutional question as well here. It's not very, like, all of the things that were discussed are good, but the way there's something about having to reform politically as well, and not just economically. And I think that is what I would add. But great talk overall, Dhruv. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a great, actually. If anybody is having any questions, please come up with that. And I also have one question. I would like to ask Vidur sir. So I would like to know their comments on current situations of which is very what we can see 30-40 years of relations between USA and India is now taking turns, and now Asian countries are coming together. So I would like to know their opinion, both military wise, strength wise, and then overall politically, global political wise.
Yeah, actually, the question that you asked me is not related to my topic, though.
Certainly, but why I ask you, because from your point of view, so military and defense point of view.
So what happens is, there is an old adage that there are no permanent friends and there are no enemies.
Correct.
There are only permanent interests. So when somebody's interests get threatened, the groupism changes. Your old friends become your enemies, your old enemies become your friend. So if you really see in the current matters, you're actually seeing something like that happening. You are seeing some strange news in the newspapers and the TV, and you are surprised as to how this can happen. So I don't want to be in but the groupism is changing. And like I have brought out in my lecture, that India has got a habit of creating opportunities out of failures. So wherever, or I wouldn't say failure, wherever it sees threats, it is finding for further opportunities to itself. And I'm very sure that as the decisions are being taken, all the current threats which we're seeing in terms of traffic, tariff, or whatever, I mean, these will be resolved giving an adequate answer to the problem. I don't think surrendering is our DNA. We will fight it, we'll come out of it. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thanks. Yeah.
See, I have a question to Vidurji. First of all, sorry, I joined late little bit because of reasons. But see, now our country is totally having a lot of youth power. That is the advantage rather. So we have to take the advantage, and we are doing that also. But then, uh, what I feel that the youth is not that much aware of these type of defenses and that type of knowledge. They don't have it rather. They after a certain maybe college or maybe they can get little bit knowledge about this. They don't. What type of values? I think you have already explained about it. But then, what type of values that Indian youth can learn from defense forces in their school days or maybe in colleges? See, because these there, I think we are lacking somewhere because they have the knowledge of engineering, they have the knowledge of all other things, but they don't have the knowledge of these type of. I'm not telling they can get all the confidential what you call as things in their syllabus, but then at least they should know like what type of the people who are in defense or who are in navy or what struggle they have, how they are putting their efforts to save the countries and this type of knowledge. I think nowadays yoga is I think little bit is added in the syllabus. That is what I heard about it. But like that, is there any? What is your opinion about it? Like how the this type of knowledge from the school level or maybe from college level the youth can get it?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I was actually itching to answer these kind of questions. You know, sometimes ago, after I left the army and I was invited to Maharshi Dayanand University in Rohtak for carrying out a little bit of services selection board training. So the training was being held in the auditorium of that university. And when I went to the auditorium, the outside the auditorium area, it was full of all the award winners, the service personnel, award winners of Haryana. For 2 days, I was going through the Haryana local papers. I was going through the local Haryana papers. They had news about many, service personnel who have excelled in particular activity. They may have cleared some competitive exams. They may have done well in some operations. They may have got some awards. All these places where they were enjoying the headlines in the newspapers. Now, what I see in Times of India, Indian Express, Lok Satta, Sakal, you take out last 1 month paper and show me how many news on the defense forces is there. It's only when somebody dies that we get news to be published. Our people don't know anything, and the all in Vanavadi in Pune. So I was called to give, a brief on recruitment avenues to the school children, 10th, 12th. They didn't know anything about defense forces. So I asked the teachers, so what stops you, forget about what is there in the syllabus, but can you not at least put the photographs of all Paramveer Chakra holders from Maharashtra, Mahavir Chakra holders from Maharashtra, and different people from Maharashtra, the defense forces who have created some kind of a history. So if these things happen, I am sure the children will come to know about what are these defense forces. They will come to know about the problems of defense forces. They will come to know about the advantages of defense forces. Now, defense force is not a profession like any other profession where tankha kitna hai does not matter. Because I ask some of the children, is it if I tell your mother, if I give her 5 crore rupees and in the bargain, I will kill you, will she agree? She says, no. I said 10 crores, 20 crores, 100 crores, complete GDP, complete, Ambani's property. He says, no. I said, but she is ready to send you to the defense forces, to the Army, Navy, Air Force for 1.5 lakh rupee salary as an officer, or 35, 40, 50,000 salary as a Jawan. Why? Because, you love the country. You want to serve the country. That thing is there in you. You don't going to the defense forces for money. But to create that kind of a liking, I have to create the environment. I have to show to him what defense forces are. And that is our responsibility. So all the educational institute at least must make sure that in the schools, colleges, this kind of environment exists where they are given, we unfortunately remember defense forces, firstly, as I told you, when somebody dies, secondly, on 15th August and 26th January. Now, that is what is unfortunate. We must create more and more awareness of the defense forces to this. So a very important topic that you brought out, and since you all have a lot of relationship with the schools and colleges, I think this point must be conveyed, that at least have 10 photographs of the at least from Maharashtra, whoever are the award winners, and there are many of them. I just showed you a video on Captain Samant Mahavir Chakra. There is one Major R.R. Rane who is from Pune only, if I'm not mistaken. He's a Paramveer Chakra. So I don't find any photographs of these people in any of the schools, any of the universities, because that is what I told you in the beginning, that and that is why also that the list of profession, defense forces are very, very low. I can tell you, if you in the recruitment, there is a entity called recruitable male population, recruitable male, RMP. Okay, so as far as our Jawans are concerned, the seats are allocated as per RMP. Okay, so the recruitment at Jawans level is as per the RMP, but at officers level, it is not as per the RMP. It is all completely competitive. And you will find the people from Punjab, now Punjab is further reduced now, but Haryana, their contribution to the defense forces officers cadre is much more than their RMP. And our contribution is much less than our RMP, because our people are not, conveyed the advantages of defense forces. We know only 2-3 things. Like I will quote a very important person in the defense hierarchy. She is from Pune, Lieutenant General Kanitkar. She was a doctor, and she's from Pune. So she came on one of the interviews, and on these interviews, she says, when I joined AFMC, she is a doctor through AFMC. So when I joined AFMC, my mother told the people around कि इसने ना AFMC ज्वाइन किया है, अभी वो आर्मी में जाएगी. तो उसको कहती है कि उसकी सहेलियां उसको पूछती थी कि आर्मी में जाएगी, बट ये तो इंटेलिजेंट थी ना, तो अभी आर्मी में क्यों जा रही है? सो आवर थॉट प्रोसेस टुवर्ड द आर्मी इज, गया गुजरा जो होएगा ना, कि अगर तू काम नहीं करेगा ना, तेरे को आर्मी में भेज दूंगा. दैट इज व्हाट पीपल आर हियरिंग. तो उनको लगता है, अरे नहीं, उधर नहीं जाना चाहिए. So the other states, you will find their contribution to the competitive vacancies are much better. That is because the environment is created in the state for those services. We unfortunately remember the services on 15th August, 26th January, and when somebody dies. It is a very wrong thing that we're doing.
Sir, in continuation with this, here is Dr. Mohite. I would like to have one question. Women empowering in military.
Yeah.
After taking a decision to involve our women power into military. So what drastic changes have taken place is, from especially women perspective, and how that strengthen our defense assets, sir. Over to you, sir.
What drastic changes have taken place? You are seeing it for yourself. If you remember the Kargil operation, I'm sorry, I forget names, so don't mind doing that. But one of you will remember the name which I am intending to. In Kargil operations, there was one Colonel Vikram Singh who used to come, to brief on what is happening, what has happened from yesterday evening to today evening. This Colonel Vikram Singh has further went on to become the Chief of Army Staff. So that is the level of a person who comes on the TV and briefs about the operation. In Sindoor, we had two girls doing that. One was Vyomika Singh and another was, I'm forgetting the name.
Some Qureshi. Fatima
Qureshi, yeah.
Sophia Qureshi.
Yeah, Sophia Qureshi. So Sophia, incidentally, Vyomika Singh, Sophia Qureshi, and one more never girl are coming today on the on Kaun Banega Crorepati. So that is the level of importance, that is the level of responsibilities which are slowly being given to the women folks. The recruitment of women into the officer cadre started somewhere around the beginning of this century. Initially, they were only short service for 5 years. Then 5 years to become 10 years. From 10 years to 14 years, slowly they become permanent. Then, earlier they were only in services. Then they started going to the supporting arms. That is, they started going to the air defense. They started going to the signals, engineers. These are the supporting arms in the army. Slowly, they were given not only permanent services, but they were given command of the regiment. And then, they were restricted to officers training academy earlier. Last 2 years, we are having NDA courses where the girls are going to the NDA. And when the girls are going to the NDA means, you will find after a few years, Chief of Army Staff girl, I don't deny that possibility. The only thing is, for some reasons, they are not being sent to the infantry and armored corps as of now. But slowly, the thought process will change. The women probably will go to the infantry, and there are some inhibitions on sending them to the infantry, but less infantry and armored corps. I think all the other arms have opened their doors to the girls, and they're doing wonderfully well. And I am telling you, as of date, I mean, I have been the president of a selection board, and normally you will find that any batch, out of about 40, 50, 60 whom we interview, our interview is for about 4-5 days. You will find 3-4 people, getting through, and the remaining 30-35. And in stage 1 that we have, we selected 50-60 out of 200-300. So resultantly, out of 300-400, 3-4 make it, to the for the medical. Thereafter, the medical takes place, and thereafter is the merit. So what happens in boys? My experience is that in the boys, unless those who are absolutely, they want to join the defense forces and they're passionate about it. Other than that, there are many people who try as a last resort. कि चलो अभी कहीं जॉब नहीं मिला, चलो डिफेंस फोर्सेस एसएसबी ट्राई कर लेते हैं. In girls, it is not so. The girls have their first preference. And therefore, when there were 4 vacancies for the NCC entry, 4 vacancies all over India, I had a batch from which 19 girls passed that SSB interview. I was feeling guilty myself, because after the SSB interview, who clear the interview, they come for a formal president's interview. That is just a Hath Milao parade. So I was seeing 19 girls standing in front of me, and I was feeling guilty that these such 19 girls are there in all over, and there were two batches in two batches in all about 8 to 10 SSB centers. So many girls will come, and out of that only 4 will be in the merit list. So I was feeling guilty. So this kind of girls material is these days coming to the army, and no wonder they are doing extremely well. They're doing extremely well, and you will find in the competition in times to come. I think my personal views, girls will do much better than the boys.
Thank you very much, sir. Absolutely perfect. क्योंकि मेरी भांजी भी डिफेंस में है, sir.
Okay.
I'm proud of
Wonderful.
that. Now,
Wonderful.
yeah. She might be.
And I must appreciate that, being in the defense forces is so much difficult for the girls, because there is so much of competition.
True.
Very few will come into the merit.
True.
Convey my congratulations to her.
Yeah, thank you very much. So दोस्तों, आज की ये शाम हमारे स्वतंत्रता सेनानी के नाम है, और ये हमारे स्वतंत्र सेनानी ने बहुत अच्छी तरह से हमें एक अलग जलवा आज दिखा दिया है कि क्या होता है रुतबा हर एक सैनिक का, वो हमें बता दिया है। तो दोस्तों, अभी वक्त के हिसाब से हमें थोड़ी पाबंदी है, और इसके लिए हम यहाँ आप लोगों को थोड़ा रुकने के लिए कहते हैं, क्योंकि ये तो सिलसिला चला रहेगा आगे और बढ़ता रहेगा, क्योंकि हमें कारवा बनाना है। सो विदुर जी, उसके साथ हमारे अशोक जी और ध्रुव, आप तीनों ने सच में एक अच्छी मिसाल रखी है। हम यहाँ ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, लेकिन ये झंडा हमारा भारत का फहराने का काम आप तीनों लोगों ने आज किया है। हम तो कैटलिस्ट है, हमारा काम ही है कि जैसे हमारे सारे साथी हमारे साथ हैं, तो ये हमारी एक जुबान है हिंदुस्तान की। हम सच में हिंदुस्तानी एक दिल के हैं, राष्ट्र प्रथम, ये हमारा कर्तव्य है दोस्तों। से इसके साथ नेशन को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और भी हम आगे जाएंगे। आने वाले कुछ सेशन विदुर जी हम आपके साथ जुल मिल के जरूर करेंगे, क्योंकि हमें यूथ एम्पावर में बहुत काम करना है। तो हम आगे देख रहे हैं आपके साथ हम किस तरह से जुड़ जाएंगे, और इसके साथ हम आज का जो बहुत बढ़िया, यानी कि मुझे तो लगता है ये खत्म ना हो जाए, लेकिन रुकना तो चाहिए, क्योंकि रुकने के लिए आगे बढ़ना होता है। ये तो हमारा एक टेम्पररी स्टॉपेज है। मैं शुक्रगुजार हूं आप सभी का कि आज के ये 79 इंडिपेंडेंस डे पे आपने यहाँ आके हमें एक अलग तरह का मोटिवेशन दिया है, क्योंकि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, और हिंदुस्तानी का गर्व हमेशा ऊंचा होता है जब कोई मिलिट्री पर्सन, जब कोई डिफेंस पर्सन हमसे बात करता है। वो एक अलग चीज होती है, वो शब्दों में हम कभी भी उसको रख नहीं सकते, क्योंकि वो आत्मा की आवाज होती है, और हिंदुस्तान आत्मा की आवाज आप सब लोग हैं। हम शुक्रगुजार हैं आप सबके, और आभारी हैं कि आज का दिन आपने हमें आशीषित किया है। हम परमेश्वर को भी धन्यवाद देते हैं कि उसने आप लोगों को अच्छी सेहत दे, आगे और भी आपके विचार सुनने के लिए, और आने वाली पीढ़ी को और भी मजबूत करने के लिए, जो हमारा वैल्यूज है, जो हमारा कल्चर है, उसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम आपके विनती करते हैं। तो हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दिल से कहते हैं FIIP की ओर से। सर, आपने हमारा निमंत्रण स्वीकार किया। मुझे मालूम है बहुत चंद दिन थे, लेकिन आपने स्वीकार किया। अंकुले सर ने भी स्वीकार किया। इसी एज में आप, विशेष करके अंकुले जी, आप आए, आपने जो भी कुछ हमारा कहने के बाद आपने सिलेक्ट किया टॉपिक और हमें रूबरू किया, इसलिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। और विदुर जी, अभी हम और भी आगे जाना है। यहाँ तो सफर हमको, देखो, सफर तो तय नहीं होगा, आखिरी सांस तक हमें हिंदुस्तान की सेवा करना है। हम तो कर रहे हैं अलग तरीके से, लेकिन आपसे जुड़ जाएंगे तो और करेंगे, क्योंकि ध्रुव में हमारा जो लीडर है, वो आपने तो देखा कि हाउ ही इज बेसिकली कीपिंग द थ्रेड, दो ही वाज इल बट ही केम फॉरवर्ड एंड पुट। So thank you very much, all my friends, all my dignitaries, basically speakers, wonderful people. I love you because हमारा हिंदुस्तान बहुत ऊंचा है हर एक चीजों में, और ये जो चीजें हो रही ना आजकल, उसको हमें बाजू रखना है, क्योंकि इंडिया इज लीडिंग इन फ्रंट ऑल द टाइम. There may be the transformation of the political scene, but Indians are remain Indians. So friend, thank you very much for this coming here, joining with us, making all together. So we'll have Vande Mataram and we'll close our session with Vande Mataram. Over to you, Navnath ji, to play Vande Mataram.
Thank you, sir. That was good work.
Thank you, sir.